Bourbon. Belts. Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. I'm Ryan.
I'm Tim.
And this is a show where we talk about wrestling, we talk about movies, and we do it all over a nice glass of bourbon and or cocktail made with bourbon. As such, that is what we got this week is our cocktail of the week. It is another, we got back-to-back now, Triple B Creations. We had kind of talked about an old, kind of a play on an old fashioned that I had made a few years ago. I mean, we're almost 20 years ago now. Yeah. So a little over 4 years ago now. When I was coming over to watch Seahawks games at your apartment.
Yeah.
And I don't know what just happened to my voice. But we had taken like pretty much the idea of an old fashioned, and then we added dark rum to it. And we really liked it then. But then we were talking about it, and we were like, we should do that for this episode. And it was like, yeah, cool. But then neither of us could remember what the fuck all went into it, like what we put in it. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to take that idea, and I'm just going to make something new and see what the fuck I can come up with and see if it's good or not or whatever. And so I kind of went with the dark rum. Kraken is what we used. I went kind of with a pirate theme. I looked up some stuff. And ended up using that to guide the ingredients I was going to use into this. So I called this the Scurvy Cure. Arrgh, matey. The ingredients in this are 1.5 ounces of our bourbon. We used the Penelope Toasted from last week. 1.5 ounces of dark rum. We used the Kraken, also delicious. Teaspoon of brown sugar. Mm-hmm. We used some fresh herbs. I know that's not how you actually say that, but that's how I like to say it. So you got to emphasize the silent H, in my opinion. Mint, basil, and thyme. And then a nice big orange. I did like a quarter of an orange, right? So a nice big orange slice. We smoked the cocktail.
Yeah.
And then garnished it with a nice orange twist. Muddled all of the stuff together, shook it, poured it into the glass over the over the nice one big rock that we got in there, smoked it, and then added the twist. And here we are to give her our review and rating.
Here we go.
Arrgh, matey. Cheers. All right. It's different.
It's different.
It's definitely different.
I'm not sure that I'm getting a lot of the bourbon in this one.
Yeah, same.
I'm getting a lot of the other flavors, though, that we've added, like the mint I'm getting the thyme.
I'm definitely getting the smoked.
Yes.
There's a lot of the smoke up front and on the back. It might be overpowering in this specific cocktail.
Yeah.
All around flavor though is not bad.
No, it's
less sweet than I anticipated it being. I thought this was going to be a little sweeter with the brown sugar, the orange, and even the basil, right? And slightly the mint, and then the rum, and that was a sweeter bourbon too that we talked about. But I think maybe the smoking kind of cut that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I'm going right down the middle. That was my first initial thought is like, I'm not hating it, not loving it.
Yeah.
But there's enough there, like of an idea. So I'm going right down the middle of 5 on that.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to join you with a 5. That was like the first thing that popped in my mind too, is I was just like, this I'm very indifferent on. It's not bad, but it's not good. I can definitely drink it. But I also feel like it almost fits like spot on with the pirate theme though.
Yeah.
Cause like everything I did a little research into pirate history here.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but a little bit into foods and herbs and fruits and stuff and a lot of the stuff that they had was just very bland. Mm-hmm. Right? It was just bland. Like that was it. And so not a whole lot of flavor, not a lot of stuff. Like it was just a lot of bland shit. And this is kind of surprisingly with the amount of stuff that's in this, you wouldn't expect it to be, but it's kind of just a bland cocktail. So,
yeah, no, that's
it kind of fits perfectly on theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go with a 5.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate it for sure. It's something I can easily sip on.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to lean towards the better side of the scale.
Yeah, for sure. I would be curious what it tastes like without smoking it.
Yeah. I definitely I think that would be the world of difference right there.
Yeah, I think the smoking it was an unnecessary additive.
But
as we hadn't done it yet on a cocktail, and I was like, "Fuck it, this might be the perfect one to do it on."
Yeah, I agree. I think what you just said, we called it the scurvy cure, and it fits that theme perfectly.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't imagine something that you're intaking to cure like a a disease or whatever. I don't even really fucking know what scurvy is, so I'll fact check that next week to actually let us fully know. But it was some sort of something that they dealt with back when. And I can't imagine it would taste good anyways. Yeah. So I feel like this is right on theme. I feel like I made the perfect cocktail for the name of it.
I agree.
And honestly, I feel like the smoke flavor's growing on me a little bit.
I know the second sip, actually, it was like, oh, okay.
It wasn't as much of like a punch to the face.
I think it's kind of like when you read that label and start going through and kind of the bourbon flavors start poking out. Yeah. When you start describing everything, it just puts the picture together and finishes that for us. So, yeah.
All right.
Switching over to our socials, you can find us on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok at Trip B Pod. We are on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We are the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters. Yeah. And you can email us at our Triple B Pod 619 at gmail.com. Love to get social.
Let's get social. Shiver me timbers. We should have dressed up as pirates.
Damn it. I don't have any
Me either.
Stuff.
I have no pirate stuff. So that would have been hard.
It would have been. But
damn, it would have been good.
It would have been.
All right. We got the fact check again this week. This once again, as on theme, it was a doozy. Yeah, we tend to be a little more loose at your house. So we're going to see how this goes now that we've kind of made the change to permanently being here. Yeah. To record.
In our defense, we were recording past our bedtime last week.
That is true. Yes, we were quite
deep
late
into the night.
Damn, it was a long ass episode. What did it end up being once it was posted?
3 hours.
It was 3 hours. Yeah, that was a long episode.
So those that listened, thank you. Yes, that was a long. That's not our typical theme.
Surprisingly, with the amount of things that are on this fact check, we didn't start drinking until we cracked that bottle of bourbon for the show last week. It wasn't like we were drinking throughout the Royal Rumble. We had our first sip on camera last week. So
I'm blaming Yeetmaster Jey.
Yeah, Jey had us all fucking high, man. He got us. Yeah, we were hyped. We were riding that wave into the show, and we were just down to talk, and we were a little loose with it, but we'll see. Yeah.
All right, so
what do we got?
We'll get right into it. DK Metcalf season stats. I think you said 800-ish yards. He got 992 yards.
Oh shit! He almost hit 1,000. Cool.
5 touchdowns, and it kind of just lines up with.
So I was right with the touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think I said 4
to 5. Right? Yeah. So it was right along with how his seasons have been going. Yeah. He's had a few over 1,000. He had 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and he was 8 yards shy of 1,000 again. But to your point, he gets so much double cover. He takes a lot off of other receivers and everything.
It should be, instead of looking at it as like, oh, he's not putting up the numbers he should as a number one receiver that is making the amount of money he's making. It should be looked at, that motherfucker almost had 1,000-yard season getting triple covered
Yeah.
Double and triple covered on every play, sometimes quadruple covered.
And
on
when
plays.
they wouldn't, he burned them.
Yeah. And so it's like,
Yeah.
come on. So all the fucking calls to, we got to trade DK Metcalf. Fuck off.
Going over to Roman Reigns' appearances since SummerSlam, you said there you would say less than 10 or 10 overall physical appearances. So looked it up. There was 10 physical appearances on SmackDown.
Oh, fuck me.
There was 2 video appearances. I don't count those.
I don't count that.
There was 3 PLEs that he attended, 4 if you include Royal Rumble. So technically 13 physical appearances. But if we just look at it from a Raw and SmackDown weekly, it was only 10. You were right in that aspect. Okay.
Even with the PLEs adding 3 or 4 or whatever it was for the dude that is still touted as the fucking face of the company,
The GOAT.
that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
All right. The false count with Priest. We both agreed it was Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle with Damian Priest. It was actually Money in the Bank, and it was with Seth Rollins after the Falcon Arrow.
That's right.
So
right.
we both agreed to it. We were both wrong on that. So
Okay.
Money in the Bank.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
If we go down, we go down together or on each other. What? That came out weird. I didn't mean that the way it said it. Arg.
Fits right along with the pirate thing.
Yeah. It gets lonely out here on these waters.
What is the Hardy Boys song called? You thought it was Loaded. It is. It's called Loaded. I could not, and I did mention that I thought I heard it in a movie trailer. There is, at least from everything, I Googled for like 20 minutes straight and could not find anything. But it has appeared like in The Masked Singer as like interlude music and stuff. So, and it is not copyrighted, like it's free to use willy-nilly. So Loaded, you were right. 2008 social medias, we talked about the Royal Rumble. There wasn't a lot of social media used, and you were right, and I just was curious what was around, because I was like, well, I feel like
2008.
we were using, so the top 3 social medias used at that time. So number 1 was Blogger, which I
Holy
never heard
shit.
of that.
I heard of it, but goddamn.
That was the number. It was like 230 million users.
Jesus.
And then followed by Facebook, which was at 200
That
million.
was like fresh.
Yeah.
That was only like a couple of years old at that point.
And then followed by MySpace.
MySpace, which
Twitter,
was the dying one at that point, because Facebook kind of took over like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it
kind of
was
replaced.
fizzling. Yeah.
That was on Facebook's rise and MySpace's decline.
Twitter, now X, wasn't even on the list. It just got invented in 2006. And I think it went public in 2008 in July, which would have been after the Royal
Did you happen to
Rumble.
look up when Facebook was invented? Like
I
when it
did
was?
not.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Do it
wanna
right
wait.
now.
I don't want to wait for the fact check. I want to know, because I'm actually really curious. Because I'm thinking, like, I want to say I got a Facebook when I was in high school.
Yeah,
so
I got one
2008,
too.
depending on the time of 2008, was either my 8th grade year or my freshman year of high school.
I graduated in 05 and had one, so I think it was around
Oh,
03,
okay.
04 that it might have been.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that was probably just when I got my first
But I
phone that I could do
signed
something
up
like
for
that
it and did not use it for years at the time.
Facebook. It was launched as the Facebook in 2004 and became Facebook in 2005. And I think because the Facebook was like at the college that like it was started was the Facebook.
Yeah.
With Zuckerberg.
So
and
2005.
so
lines
2005 was probably
when-
when it went more mainstream as
is
Facebook.
when I signed up for
Okay,
it.
that
So
makes
my
sense.
senior year.
So then
And again,
now I'm curious about MySpace. MySpace start date 2003. That makes sense to me too, because it was August of 2003, so I was going into 4th grade. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Yeah.
Because it was like MySpace had my top friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had like your top 10 favorite friends or
That
whatever.
started some fights.
And that,
if you were not
fuck
in
yeah,
the
that
top.
started some shit, man. It was like the girl you had a crush on was always like number 2. You weren't putting her at number 1.
No.
You weren't putting her at number 1 at all because that was like way too on the nose. But she was number 2, right? But then like that number 1 spot was fucking big because that was like your homie. That was your ride or die. That's the bad boys for life type thing.
It was going back and forth between James and Nathan for a while there.
God, I had a rotating shelf. Like I personally, I probably was actually more like top 4 were my homies, and then like number 5. Like if you made my top 5, you're cute. You know what I mean? Like if you were like that number 5 girl, you're like, sup?
Yeah,
sup, girl? And yeah, no, and then MSN Messenger.
Oh God,
was that was
That
like
was so
get home from school, and that's where that was like not the original DMs.
Yeah,
but that was like the hot DMs.
Oh, for sure.
Because there was AOL and the Yahoo Messenger and like all that shit.
I was on all those.
So me too. Like I was on all of them too. But MSN was like, that was where you're spitting some grade school, middle school game. You know what I mean?
Spinning some lyrics at some people.
Yeah.
That was our love language. It's tearing on my heart when I'm with you.
Yeah. When we're apart,
I feel it too.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Next.
Moving on. Allison Brie, Dave Franco projects. We talked about together, and we didn't know if there was anything that they've done previously to that. So in 2017, this Power couple co-starred in The Little Hours and The Disaster Artist. So 2 movies.
Fuck, I knew that I didn't know about the first one.
Yeah.
I knew The Disaster Artist, that they were in that both.
Yeah.
Damn.
Then in 2020, Franco started directing movies, and he directed 2 movies with Allison Brie, The Rental, and then Somebody I Used to Know.
Okay.
So
heard of The Rental, haven't heard of the other one.
Yeah, so 4 projects together, and then 5 including together now. So
3 now that they've acted together in.
Yes,
Right?
correct.
Because he just directed the other 2. He wasn't in them. I believe
so.
Right?
Yeah,
If it was like cameo, like director cameo type thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a full.
We talked about the movie Ash last week, and the main star, Aisa Gonzalez. You didn't know anything that she was in. You didn't recognize her. You might not still recognize her, but she was in Hobbs and Shaw movie, the Fast and Furious movie, Hobbs and Shaw. And then she was in the movie.
Who was she in that? Do you know?
It was Mrs. M or Madam M or something was the character.
Okay.
And then she was in the movie Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. And then Godzilla versus Kong movie as well. So I don't know if you've seen those, but those were just the names of the movies. I was like, maybe he's seen these ones.
Godzilla and King Kong movies are like some of the monster movies that I like don't track anymore because there have been so many different iterations, most of which are not canonical with each other. Mm-hmm. And so I've just like it's been so all over the fucking place that it's like completely lost my interest.
Yeah, gotcha.
The last one that I think I gave a shit about was that Skull Island with Jack Black, King Kong, Skull Island. Jack Black.
I think
was
Jack
in it.
Black was in just King Kong, the one with, was it Naomi Watts? I want to say.
Whichever one Jack Black was in is, I
Okay.
think, the last one that I like actually watched.
Gotcha.
And before that, the last monster movie of those kinds, I guess, that I actually like fully cared about was Matthew Broderick.
Okay, 2000.
Yeah, dog.
Or 99. I was 99, 2000.
The best one.
I love that one.
It was amazing. I know. We've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah. I wanted the sequel
was the
to
one
that.
you wanted. That was the one that you wanted the continuance of.
Yep.
Yeah, that was because it was fucking amazing. That movie was so goddamn good.
I watched it recently, and I
It
still
stands up.
I think it does.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. That would be a good one to rewatch.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
All right,
Anyways.
moving down. Dennis Quaid, you said he was the coach in Any Given Sunday. He was not the coach. He was the starting QB for the Sharks and got injured, which led way for Jamie Foxx's character,
right.
Willie Bean, to
Who
start
was
as
the
QB.
coach?
It was Al Pacino.
Pacino.
It was Pacino was the coach.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
I knew Dennis Quaid was in it, though.
Yes, you did.
Samsonite.
I mean,
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
he's on the bench. He's kind of coaching Jamie Foxx's character a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's like when you have like the starting quarterback's injured and he's
still
really the one kind of calling the plays at that point.
Yep. Evan Peters. I said that he played Ted Bundy in a Netflix series. We were just talking about Happy Face at the time.
Yeah.
And I said he played Ted Bundy. It was not Ted Bundy. It was Jeffrey Dahmer that he played.
Dahmer, that's right. Zac
Yes.
Efron was Bundy.
Yes. So got that confused. So I'm wrong
that's
on
right,
something
that's right.
too.
I'm wrong too because I agreed with you. I was like, oh yeah, you're right, totally. Nope. Yeah, Dahmer, that's right.
Where did the first 2 seasons of White Lotus take place? Season 1 was in Hawaii, and then season 2 was in
Italy.
Sicily.
Sicily, okay. Sicily. I
The
was thinking it was
carryover
very close,
character
though.
that carries from 2 to 3 is Natasha Rothwell, is the actress. I didn't look up the name just because I haven't watched the show yet. So.
Yeah, she's the one that worked. She was the employee at the season 2 White Lotus.
Yeah, you knew who it was. You just didn't know the actress name. I just, for curious sake, wanted to look up the critics versus audience score for Venom movies because you said the critics were really harsh on it, but the audience liked it, and you were right. Audiences gave each of them 80 plus. Like most, 2 of them were 80%.
As they fucking should.
One of them was 85%. So
You fucking cocksucking critics.
I was like, I thoroughly enjoyed all 3.
I loved all 3 movies.
Yeah.
They were fantastic.
The critics gave 2
And
of
the
them.
third one was so fucking dope with like all of the other fucking symbiotes.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool. And like the people that they were like jumping to and becoming. It was so fucking cool. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it was good.
Soapbox.
The critics gave it, each of them, less than 50%. 2 of them were like 30, 33%.
Well, you know what I give the critics?
A big
I give the critics my middle finger, and I would fart on all your heads. Fuck you.
We had some kind of follow-up questions about Venom Last Dance. Where was Noel locked up at? The planet's, or wherever it was, it's called Clintar. And then
That's the planet.
I think it was the planet. It was like the planet of symbiotes or whatever, where he was locked up.
Because he's the god of the symbiotes, right?
Yes.
So he like created them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was in Eddie Brock and Venom that Noel was after? We didn't know the name of it, and that was the Codex.
Codex, that's right.
Looking up how to pronounce Achebe or whatever, it's Achebe. The character that was
Achebe. Okay.
Achebe is who is planned for Black Panther, the villain.
And can I add a live action fact check?
Yeah.
But I guess I don't necessarily know that it's a fact check, actually. But I read something that one of the producers of Black Panther 3, maybe not producer, one of the higher up guys of Black Panther 3 has like had an interview, and he was saying that he's like, pretty much everything you're reading on the internet about this is not true.
Oh shit!
Because he was like outside, because he was responding to like Denzel's thing outside of Denzel.
Yeah.
He was just like, we are in such early stages of discussing everything. Like, we don't have story planned out yet or anything. So he's like, pretty much everything you're reading is not true. We're in such early stages of everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So, but that fit into Fred. That fit into our Fred section of rumors, right? Because sometimes rumors aren't going to be true. So,
exactly.
But I did. That's just funny because I totally spaced on that and then I read it. Then you just said that, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I might as well throw that live in here now.
Yeah, I like it.
So we don't know who the villain actually is going to be or rumored to be or anything. We also don't know if Namor is actually going to be back in it or any of that. So
Gotcha. That's the fun of rumors, though. It's just getting conversation started, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, and same with the recasting of T'Challa.
Yeah.
So
that was a full-on just rumor.
Because he was like, there's been conversations about it before, but like, again, we're so early in development of everything that he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll never say never, but he's like, it was something that we stayed away from in the past.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And so, like, are they far enough away from Chadwick Boseman's passing now that they could do it respectfully without backlash? Maybe. Yeah. But that's still part of their whole fucking pre-development process. So
perfect. When is Sinners coming out? You said in March. It actually is coming out April 18th. We got
should be coming out in March because it looks dope.
Yeah. I really want to see soon. It. Does Mephisto have any part of the X-Men? We were talking about how he could fit in future plans. There is mentions that like he has interactions with X-Force. And then there was some blurb that he like predicts the end of the X-Men. Okay. So there is mentions of it.
So there are loose connections.
Yeah. But where they could tie him in is he's a major adversary to Spider-Man, and then also saw a lot of mentions of Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, so he could be tied into that, that realm of the MCU. We were talking about the faculty, so coming up on the last few things here. Faculty, the football coach actor, we couldn't think of the name. He was also in T2 as the T-1000.
Identity Thief.
It's Robert Patrick.
Yep.
That's the actor's name.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
And then we were just talking about the big names that were tied to the movie, so I just listed a few, but we have Jordana Brewster. We just talked about her in the last episode as well. Yeah. We got Clea Duvall, who was the emo girl that you mentioned.
Yep.
We got Salma Hayek was in it, Jon Stewart, and then Famke Janssen, who was in X-Men movies. So just wanted to list a few of the big names that we missed on last week's episode. So that was our fact check.
Usher was in the movie.
Yes, Usher was.
Okay, because I was going to say, when I was reading about the remake, they were talking about the other people that were in it. And they didn't mention Usher. Yeah. That's what I said last week. And I was like, I know Usher was in the fucking movie. He was like the running back of the football team or whatever. Yeah. But then you didn't say it. So I was like, wait, hold on. I know Usher was in that movie. No. This is not a goddamn...
I was just building on what we talked about.
I was like, this is not a fucking Shazam Kazam fucking conundrum situation. I know he was in that fucking movie. Right. And that's all you got, though?
Yep, that's what I got.
That's it?
Yeah.
20 minutes later. All right, cool. Fuck yeah, man. Well, moving on to tomorrow's the end of football season.
Hell yeah.
Right? And then the off season officially, really. Free agency is like the start for fans of off season. Yes. And that's in March sometime. But Super Bowl's tomorrow. We got the Chiefs and the Eagles. We both sent out our predictions last week because this episode won't drop till after the Super Bowl's happened, right? We'll drop this Monday. Super Bowl's tomorrow.
We both said
Eagles. I know that's probably more of hoping than necessarily like fact-based or anything, because I feel like these teams are relatively even.
Yeah. I would give the offensive side to the Eagles right now.
Offensive side, Eagles, hands down. I think you would almost be stupid to think that the Chiefs have the upper hand offensively. Their offense has been a fucking shit show pretty much all year. Their defense is the only thing that has kept them alive.
Defensive side
goes to KC, hands down. So it's gonna be interesting because it's not anywhere near the same like metrics, but it kind of gives me feels of Seattle versus Denver in the Super Bowl, where it was like the number one offense versus number one defense, and the number one defense fucked up the number one offense.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they didn't stand a chance. So I'm like, I'm scared because typically better defenses outduel better offenses.
Defense wins championships.
Yes, and that's what scares me is...
But the Eagles,
I think it's really going to come, like, truly is going to come down to outside of KC special teams and or defensive potential touchdowns. I think it really might come down to KC's offense versus Philly's defense as to which one can prevail there.
Yeah.
So which one of those is better? I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea if the defense for Philly can outstand the offense for KC. If they can, I think Philly gets the win then. Because I do think that KC's defense can potentially outduel Philly's offense. But if all they're doing is getting stops, if the defense isn't putting points on the board on either side, if the defense is getting, stops from touchdowns, but then Philly's defense can outduel KC's to keep them out of field goal range, then Philly could win that game just off field goals potentially.
Yeah, I think it's because I watched a bunch of the Eagles games throughout the year, and their defense is definitely spotty, but it had strong games as
playmakers.
Well.
They just,
especially on the defensive line. So
and in their secondary too.
Yeah,
right?
They got Slay. I believe.
Darius Slay,
and
so another.
And I think one of their
they
guys,
have the rookie, the white rookie, fucking not Dijon.
I know who you're talking. Yeah,
Cooper.
Deshaun Cooper? No. Dijon?
Cooper Dijon. Cooper. It is kind of like Dijon, but it's not spelled Dijon. It's spelled like Deshaun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
They have him too, who's a fucking badass as a rookie.
Yeah.
So,
they got a lot of good pieces, so it's what
dudes.
defensive side of the Eagles shows up. So
yeah,
it should be a good Super Bowl, like just point wise. I feel like it should be.
Yeah, I hope it's close. That's what you kind of always hope for the Super Bowl. That was kind of like you think back to the Super Bowl that Seattle won against Denver, and it was like, yeah, it was fucking awesome because we beat the fucking brakes off of them. Like, but it was also like from almost the first snap of the game, it was like, oh, we just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it was like when the game ended, like who I was dating at the time, she was like, I thought you'd be more excited. And I was like, I lost my voice at halftime because I knew we won. Like the game was over.
Yeah.
Like before halftime. And then we came back from half and Percy Harvin returned the fucking kick, the opening second half kick for a touchdown. And it was like, yeah, this game is done. Denver, there was a -% chance that Denver was coming back to win that game at that point. You could see it on all their faces.
Yeah.
They scanned the fucking sideline after that, and like Peyton Manning was like almost about to cry. Like he was just like, fuck, So
fast forward to the Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl. Sucky ending for us, but it was a great game.
Oh my god, it has been voted the greatest Super Bowl in the history of the game.
It was so good.
It was one of the most back and forth Super Bowls ever.
Yeah.
And
not high scoring, but
Yeah,
there was a lot of points scored, though, in the same respect. And so it was definitely a fun one to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you go to watch like the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl. That was boring. Like, yes, it was defensive battle, but 6-3 was the final.
Yeah.
It was. Speaking of Seahawks news, the restructure
of Leonard Fournette.
No, Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams. Why
Big
did I say
cat.
Fournette? Leonard Fournette was a running back that never played for us. What the fuck? Leonard Williams. Yeah.
I think that just shows we are like in a win now mode. Like we're feeling that close, and I think that's why you would agree to that. Open up some cap space.
But it also isn't taking anything from him.
No.
Right?
It moves it down and everything.
It turned into a signing. It turned
a big bonus,
$18 million into a signing bonus.
Yeah.
And then they just added 2 void years that they can push the cap hit to. So it changed almost, if anything, it gave Leonard Williams more money up front.
Yes, for sure.
Like, gave it immediate. So it didn't change anything in what he's getting. He's still getting the same amount. They just restructured the format of it to open up cap space now.
Yeah.
They pushed the cap hit of his contract to later years, right? Which opened up like $14 million of cap space or so.
Which we need.
We definitely need, yeah. And it's going to be interesting, too. I just saw another interview with Adam Levine and Mike McDonald. And Adam Levine like straight up asked, like, is Geno Smith, like, do you expect Geno Smith to be on the team this year? And he was like, yeah, he's our quarterback.
Yeah.
And that was like do you think you could, like win with him and all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, heck yeah. Like Gino's our guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so I would be expecting in the next couple weeks to see a restructure of Gino's deal too, to lessen the cap hit, extend him out, add void years, that type of similar thing to give him some money up front, restructure it maybe so that like the incentives and bonus that he did pick up in the Week 18 win over the Rams was not as impactful cap wise right now.
Yeah.
And I do think that the Metcalf situation will be something to monitor, just because of the contract and the money he's.
But to your point, he just means a lot to this offense. He means a lot
to the offense, and I would be shocked if you bring in a new offensive coordinator coming in, like licking his fucking lips about the offense,
Metcalf,
the fucking weapons
Kenneth
that he
Walker,
has, and then you go on and fucking trade arguably the biggest the biggest piece to that offense.
Yeah.
I would be surprised.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if we could see 3 restructures that open up almost $50 million of cap space.
Yeah.
Which could then lead us to going and getting, bolstering the offensive line. But we also have John Schneider as our general manager still, and it does not like to bolster the offensive line. So if that's not going to happen, then motherfucker, you better go get Myles Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
Go fucking trade for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, for sure.
Trade this year and next year's first round picks. I don't give a fuck. Go get Myles Garrett.
He's a game changer.
Put him opposite of fucking anybody that's like Leonard Williams, fucking Maffei,
yeah,
Hall,
yeah,
maybe Chenna if he's still on the team.
Yeah.
Like fucking
do you
Byron
want
Murphy,
them?
like the fucking front. Go re-sign Darren Reed. Have fucking Ernest Jones back. Like all of it.
Oh yeah, free up cap space for Ernest Jones.
Yeah, that's probably the main thing. Is free up cap space to go get Ernest or to re-sign Ernest. Yeah. That's like number one priority, I think. Restructure Gino and then sign Ernest Jones to an extension.
Yeah.
Sign that motherfucker to like a 5-year deal.
I'm not big on him. I know I've read people want to re-sign him, but Draymond Jones, are you big on it? I'm ready to let him go. He can do things.
If I would re-sign him if he takes a much smaller contract.
Yeah.
If you can rework it to where he's not necessarily veterans minimum, because I do think he outplayed veterans minimum.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, he was dealing with injuries almost all of last season.
Yeah.
And he, in the moments where he was healthy, he did play well. He did do some good stuff, but did he put up the numbers, and was this the 2 seasons that we had him?
Yeah, 2 seasons.
Did he put up the numbers that are worth the money that the contract he signed? Absolutely not. So would I be down to have him back as a rotational player that comes in? Absolutely, but for a much cheaper price tag.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's going in. Yes, the Super Bowl is fun, but it's going into my favorite part of the football year, which is free agency
baby.
And the draft. It's just the excitement built off of that.
Really interesting to see what the fuck happens here, because like it was super interesting last year, but now that it's like Mike McDonald's a year in and we canned the entire offensive staff pretty much, it feels very similar to how last year felt, where it's like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
are we gonna actually invest in the offensive line? Like, is anybody in Schneider's ear now being like, hey, pull your fucking head out of your ass. Guards are not overpaid and overvalued. Like, if anything,
the Eagles. Their offensive line is gold standard.
Most of the fucking teams that continuously make good postseason runs have a good amount of their money tied up in their offensive line because it's such an important fucking part of the game. It's
built into the trenches.
Yeah.
Just throwing all the NFL catchphrases out
but
there.
It's serious. It's the truth. And so I'm just curious if John Schneider has all of the say in the final things, but is he going to lean on Mike McDonald at all to be like, yo, we got to make some fucking changes. Like, we actually need to improve things.
I like this offseason more, just the excitement of it, just because the Seahawks now have shown what they can do with the little moves they did last year.
Yeah.
They won 10 games this year.
Yeah.
I think just showing that foundation, that will entice possibly, if we do have the cap space, some free agents to come this way.
And also, another thing to think of, too, is in John Schneider's first year as the dude that is making all of the decisions, almost all of the decisions he made failed.
Yeah.
Almost every single one of like the off-season acquisitions. I mean, even a lot of the draft picks from this last draft didn't have like any immediate impact, right? Like Byron Murphy probably didn't play up to what the expectations for him were. He played well in a lot of moments, right? But probably not as the fucking, first defensive player off the board, So it is very interesting to look at and to see if maybe now, was there a little bit of an ego thing there for John Schneider? He's like, oh, I'm the one making the calls now. And then like every free agent trade or signing that he made fucking failed.
Yeah, we got rid of the two linebackers.
Half of them were gone in the middle of the season, right? Yep. So it's just
that's when things turned around.
And then the safeties. There wasn't a single safety that we brought on that was playing significant time in the second half of the year.
That's right. Kayvon Wallace and
Rayshon Jenkins.
Yeah.
Like Rayshon Jenkins was like the third or fourth rotational safety, and Kayvon Wallace isn't even on the team anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So it's like, it is very interesting to see like when he's now like the dude making all the personnel decisions, and then that's what happened. If he's going to be a little more open this year to be like, all right, Mike McDonald, maybe let's do some of this together and see if Mike McDonald will have a little more say in some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we're not behind the closed doors, so we don't know what all goes on. But when it boils down to it, this is John Schneider's first year, and from an outsider's perspective, it didn't look great for him in that regard. So. That brings us to Bourbon.
We'll keep it going.
Timmy, what do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? Jey Uso. He started the show on SmackDown. He started the show on Raw. And the crowd was lit for him still. I was a little nervous because, and I don't like to trust in the internet, but there was a lot of what I was reading was a lot of disappointment that he won, which was crazy because that is not what you see in the shows. And how we felt, I was just like, what?
How could you be disappointed that he won that?
But it was like
overwhelmingly.
It was like a synonymous, like across the internet, and I know you don't trust. We've talked about it before. Don't trust in the internet. But
I was just gonna say it was overwhelmingly a positive thing.
Oh yeah,
on both shows.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, and that's I literally just wrote "yeet" as one of my talking points for this exact reason, because that was one of the most real moments we've seen in a while too.
Yeah, on Raw for sure.
On Raw, he was like fucking crying because of the reaction that he got as the Royal Rumble winner, because of like what this is going to do for his, like, he's going to win at WrestleMania. He's going to win a title.
Yeah. And just to have that trust of the because
and
Royal Rumble kicks off their biggest season,
absolutely
their biggest show, and he gets to be in that main event.
Dude, he is the most over fucking character in the last at least 25 years.
It's
like seriously, I can't think of somebody who their entrance music hits and you're getting the response that he's getting immediately, and then 10 minutes after he's already fucking come out.
And it's still going.
And it's just constant, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he could keep his theme song going, and it happened on both shows where they were literally like, one more time.
Yeah.
Because they love it on both shows. And so it's
I've never seen that before either.
Never. Like, you've never seen somebody call for an encore to somebody's entrance music. And it's happened on back-to-back shows now, dude.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and I know that this might be out there.
Yeah.
He might be the most over fucking dude ever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's definitely up there for sure.
But with you never saw anybody reacting like this way in this fucking context to The Rock, to Stone Cold.
I would argue Stone Cold. I would.
Pops, yes, but nobody's asking for a fucking encore to theme songs.
Yeah.
Nobody's asking for an encore to an entrance.
Yeah.
No, because that's all it is. All he's doing, he's not doing anything fucking crazy, dude. He's coming out and doing this. That's all he's doing. And it's fucking this big. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, you've never seen the announcers to shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Reacting this way to a superstar.
Yeah.
Ever. Mm-hmm. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm like, and I know there's a lot of factors that go into it, and context and eras and everything, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but I'm like, dude.
Yeah. I agree.
At least since the Rock and Stone Cold's heyday, hands down, I don't even think it's arguable. He's the most over guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Name one.
Really. I don't think he's above, but the Yes movement with Daniel Bryan was pretty big across all the crowds, got a lot of involvement and everything. So it's up in that echelon, but no, I'm saying Jey is above that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels great. It's
and Daniel Bryan probably is the next closest in the last 20 years, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's more than Cena's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than Orton. It's more than CM Punk ever was or is currently. It's more than Rollins or Roman ever has been. Like, dude, Jey Uso is on a whole other fucking playing field from anybody on that roster currently right now. And again, like I said, in the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane to see.
Yeah.
Like, and I say it every time he comes on. I'll look at Lindsay. I'm like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, and we've been there now twice live for it.
Yeah.
To see him. And it's just like, fuck. It's so crazy to see it. It's wild.
Yeah.
To see it live. It's wild to just be in my living room. I have never felt almost an uncontrollable urge to participate from my couch in an entrance.
Yeah.
And every time his music hits, I can't stop doing it. Like, it just takes, I got Lindsay doing it last night with me. Like, I can't, it's infectious.
Yeah.
Right? It's never happened before like this.
No, I agree.
I don't know, man.
And it's so organic too. Like
it
just he went from one of the most from being one of the most hated guys, and then he says, "I'm going off on my own," and took a little bit to get there, but damn, did he get there?
Yeah.
So it feels good. Now my only question is, how long is it going to take him to decide who he's going to go for? I'm sure they're going to play it out just to feed into more storylines, because it's also fun to see which one is he going to go, which will also decide who Elimination Chamber goes for. So
and that's why I don't feel like it's going to necessarily be that long. I feel like we will know, at least for the men's side, I feel like we'll know who Jay's going for by Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the names and the situation and everything, and just like kind of the quality and the landscape of the men's division is just stronger. Yeah. Right. So I think it's easy. I think that's an easier thing to do. And I feel like we'll know sooner than later. And especially like, I mean, I feel like kind of annoyed with it, but I feel like the ending of SmackDown kind of played into that a little bit for me.
I don't know. I still feel like it's open. It's open.
I feel like he alluded to it on Raw, is like the whole situation with Gunther.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to go for the World Heavyweight title. I feel like it makes more sense that way too, than, because at this point you're not turning either Cody or Jay heel.
Yeah.
Like, Jay's like everything we just said, and Cody is Cody. You're not turning him heel against Jay, right? Yeah. So it's I feel like that wouldn't make sense for WrestleMania anyways. So I feel like it's going to be Gunther, and then whoever wins the Elimination Chamber will has to obviously go for Cody.
Yeah.
But yeah, then with the solo angle and all of that, which we can talk about when we get to it. But My next talking point, the thing I want to talk about first is Charlotte Flair.
I'm glad you put that on because I forgot to put that on my list.
I'm curious if it's going to be in a similar vein as to how you would have put it on, as to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I don't feel like her return is happening the way the company wanted it to. I don't think it's happening the way the company expected it to. I think her return so far has come across completely flat, and it literally feels like Tiffany Stratton had a point last night on SmackDown. It feels like nobody fucking cares that she's back. It feels like nobody gives a shit that she won the Royal Rumble. She's getting like zero pop from the fans when she comes out. And she's trying to lean into that as a heel, but she's getting almost no pop back from that either. It feels very dry. It feels very just like they're stuck in like a weird limbo. Like, and then it feels like they were like live, almost like, all right, we're gonna see what the pop will be on NXT and what the pop will be on Friday, and it's been pretty much the fucking same across. It just has not been good. It doesn't feel good. It feels just kind of like, kind of just like we don't really want to see you against any of the three almost. And it was like very. I felt like Tiffany Stratton kind of hit it on the head that it was like, oh yeah, you got hurt and everybody cared for like a second.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, that's so fucking true. Because nobody gave a flying fuck about Charlotte Flair for the last 14 months.
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't know if there was anybody that was like, oh, we really miss her.
No.
From our TV screens.
No.
And like, yeah, she's the most decorated superstar, but a lot of that was fucking forced. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that was a lot of it was forced down our throats type of thing. And it was also under a different regime that I don't know if she would have been pushed the same way. And the women's landscape is, while we have said that some of it at times has been kind of in shambles, it is in a completely different spot than it was when Charlotte Flair was here before. And she kind of just feels out of place now. Like none of these matches that are potential for her at WrestleMania feel good.
I would disagree with that part. I would say the Charlotte Rhea WrestleMania match that happened last was amazing. I love the potential of the Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte. So it's not the match quality. I agree with you though. I feel
maybe
like,
not, and I guess I'm saying more story.
Okay,
Story-wise,
Charlotte doesn't bring a lot to story-wise.
No, and it doesn't feel. That's what I was more or less saying.
Okay.
It doesn't feel good. Match quality themselves.
Oh yeah,
sure, yeah, but still, are there other people that I would potentially rather see either Rhea or Tiffany Stratton face off against? I think so.
Yeah,
I think there are a handful of people that I would rather see than Charlotte. So that's just what I'm saying. Is like, I don't know, man. Like. Alexa Bliss's return, I think, could have had a better setup for some of it.
Yeah,
to a point, right? I don't know. I don't feel like this. I don't feel like this is all, and I don't think that's just me. I feel like the fan bases at all the live shows are fucking showing you this is not what the company expected to happen when she returned.
I will agree because I had that same feeling. Like I think Charlotte had to make a decision on Raw. Like
to lean into it. And I think she did a great job with that. Like it was really the only option on the table at that point because she wasn't going to get over as a face.
I feel like it was trying to maybe remake the Triple H coming back from injury and back before WrestleMania 18 and where the crowd was fully behind him. He left as a heel, came back as a big baby face. And I think maybe that was what they were trying, but the crowd definitely did not react, and so
not at all.
They've had to pivot, and now Charlotte's leaning into the heel side. Obviously, I'm not behind the doors, but that's what it felt like. It was like, she was expecting a crowd pop and did not get that on Monday.
She didn't get that at the Royal Rumble.
No, for sure.
Like there was no pop for her. There hasn't been a pop for her, even on the heel side. There hasn't been a pop. Right? Yeah. There hasn't been an overwhelming amount of boos. You know, like
NXT was her biggest pop, I think.
Probably, yeah. But like Dom gets booed more than she does. Fucking the New Day now, like that's what I'm saying is it literally feels like people are just over her and she just came back.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, dude, you literally just put the next 4 months on this. Mm-hmm. And this is not going the way you wanted. So I think I just feel like this last week has been a failure in that regard.
I think that what can recoup her character though is like, because usually they like to let the Royal Rumble winners win at WrestleMania, like more so than not. I hope that she goes on this like long losing streak and then has to build herself back up to start gaining, and maybe that will help her character because she's already the most women's champions out there. She's back, or not back to back, but first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles. Like, she has all the accolades already, and is, but it just feels forced almost. For a lot of those, it was definitely felt forced. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I didn't have that on mine, but I wanted to talk about it, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
All right. Next, what I got, Io versus Liv. I thought the match was fantastic. I was ready to make this a banger of the week, but then that ending pissed me off. Like, you have such a good match. Why end it with DQ? Yes, was it a little different than the norm where Rhea punches the bad guy and the bad guy wins? That's a little different. But it's just, the Elimination Chamber is supposed to be the next runner up to the Royal Rumble to get someone into the main event, and that's the way you get someone into the match. I was disappointed with it, and it unfortunately does take it down a notch for me, and it's not my banger of the week. So, yeah, but the match was crazy good.
Yeah, same. I had that written down, was that Io and Liv cooked. It was a really good match. I kind of have a different outlook, though, on the ending. Okay. I actually liked it.
Wow, I did not expect that from you.
I know.
You always do this to me. But no, I was still mad about it.
I liked it because it did catch me off guard. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, but it wasn't a caught me off guard in the sense of like, fuck, are you serious? Another roll up? Mm-hmm. Like that type of off guard. It caught me off guard because I was like, oh, that's kind of a new way to end something, but it fits Liv's character so fucking well that I don't think it could have gone over with anybody else almost on the roster. Men, women, doesn't matter. Like, it fits Liv's character to how she is just this conniving, sneaky, just snake, and that she just keeps kind of like finding her way into some of these situations and stuff because of what she brings out in other people. Yeah. And that's what this was, right? Like, they attacked them earlier.
Yeah.
And then Raquel's getting involved, and now here comes Rhea, and then Liv grabs Rhea, and then Rhea reacts and inadvertently costs Io.
I guess
which is realistically, I think the outcome that at least I wanted anyways was Liv to be in this match over Io.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying with like,
but you had Raquel interfere twice in the same spot. Like, it was like she got up on the apron both times that Io tried to do the moonsault. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, we're letting that slide and then immediately disqualifying Io the second Rhea gets involved.
Well, you can't disqualify for distraction.
I know,
you can't,
but it's
you
dumb.
Can't.
But
you
brought this point up. She had every intention to interfere in that spot, and you've brought it up where it should be disqualification. Where
I don't think I've ever said that.
When Tama Tonga came up in one of the spots, he came up and it was like a Jey Uso spot, and he didn't touch him, but you're like, the intention's there, and you said that should be DQ. I'll play the tape back for you.
No, I don't remember that, but
we had a little back and forth about the DQ.
If I did say that, then I don't know what I was thinking, because I don't feel like that would actually be warranted, right? Because in order for it to be DQ, you have to actually touch the person.
Yes, I agreed.
Right.
I agreed.
So if
and
I
that's
said
what
that,
I said.
If
but
I said that, I don't remember that at all. So if I said that, my bad.
I'll send you.
I stand corrected.
I have the receipt.
But
I don't. It just that part happened, and then the Rhea and I do think it was a different approach to ending the match. I agree with you. I think Liv belongs in the Elimination Chamber. She's one of the best parts of the women's division in the past year, and I agree with that. It's just you have this awesome. It's ending these awesome matches on DQ that I don't like. It's just
on DQ or roll up.
Yes,
yeah.
And
I do get
if
that
the
because
match
it's like
was not good. Yeah,
whatever.
I would not be talking about this, but the match
it
was killer.
It was the best, second best match on Raw.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Right.
I was ready to give it to the banger and everything, and then that part. It was just that part.
Yeah. I like I said, I get what you're saying, but I didn't hate it because I feel like what it did was because I feel like in a lot of those situations where it is the roll ups or it's those random DQ things that happen, it's not adding fuel to somebody's character. And all I feel like this did was just reinforce Liv's character.
It did.
You know what I mean? And that's
did.
where I was like, okay, I don't hate this specific spot.
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying with like you can end a match in a much better way when it's the quality of the match that it was. But also for character building, like I felt like it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
So
no, character wise, it fits. It really does.
And
her way into the
storyline
match.
wise, right? Like Liv or Rhea fucking hates Liv, and then Rhea just put Liv into the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I am curious now how Io will play in this because I feel like that's gonna have a storyline to
something.
It. Yeah, so
like maybe that ends up being a match at Elimination Chamber is Io versus Rhea, type thing.
So I am curious to that part, but like I said, it just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, because that's what I feel like that they have to build towards too. Is there has to be some main championship matches at Elimination Chamber.
I think we got a glimpse of that on Smack. So typically a PLE is 5 matches. So we got 2 Elimination Chamber matches.
So now you have 3 other matches.
And so you got 3 other matches. So I
don't think
SmackDown
Tiffany's
alluded to one last night, and then maybe
I'll put it this way: I don't think Tiffany Stratton's defending her title at Elimination Chamber.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay.
So
that's what I got.
Yeah. Which one do I want to go with next? Fucking Dragon Lee.
Oh wow.
The fucking Hurricane Rana. That was one of the coolest fucking things I've seen in a while. I played it back and I made Lindsay come out. I was like, you have to watch this. Something like that is the exact reason that just keeps me constantly engaged in matches. I was waiting for that moment, that type of thing that it just makes you be like, what the fuck? Like he ran he's not a big dude, so it's not like that's a fucking leap for him to jump, just cleanly clear the top rope without springboarding or anything.
Yeah.
Like he just jumped, cleared the top rope, landed perfectly in a fucking Hurricane Rana, and then hit the Hurricane Rana to the outside of the ring, fluid.
Yeah.
No miss, no nothing. Like it was perfect. And so it's just like that type of feat of athleticism is what keeps us as fans fucking just glued to the TV screen
100%.
every week. And so I was like, what the fuck? That was so dope. That was so fucking cool. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I think Dragon Lee is just so good, and I'm okay with him having a slow burn to his ascend because I think there's a big future for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the face of the Luchadors along with Penta and eventually Rey Fenix. So I couldn't agree more. That spot was so cool. He just is so innovative, like in the ring. It's crazy.
That's a crazy move to fucking hit.
Yeah.
Dude. Like a Hurricane Rana standing
Everything
is whatever.
that
but
could
like
go wrong.
Hitting a Hurricane Rana from the apron to the outside of the ring, that's a long fucking ways down for the person hitting the Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Like you're essentially, you start sitting atop the shoulders of your opponent.
Yeah.
On top of the ring apron.
Yeah.
So you're already 3.5, 4 feet up, however high the ring is. Now you're another 5.5 to 6 feet, depending on the size of the opponent.
Yeah.
Maybe even fucking higher, 6.5 feet. Right? You're talking, you're 10 to 12 fucking feet in the air right now.
Yeah.
And then you're doing a fucking like swinging backflip. And then he landed on his fucking feet perfectly. Like,
It was insane.
Like, what the fuck? It was such a cool moment. I loved that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I want to talk about.
It was good. All right, I'm going to the closing part of Raw this week. Seth, it started with Seth. Fire promo to bring out Sammy and just fire up Sammy and saying all the reasons why Sammy needs to beat Punk. I thought it was well done. It just builds that feud with Seth and Punk still. And then to put on the match that Punk and Sammy did afterwards was just incredible. It was phenomenal match. And then ending the night with KO attacking Sammy. It just, I know we talked about it a lot leading into Royal Rumble. They are blending these storylines on top of each other so well. Like,
Totally.
it's so awesome to see. Like, this is story, like the athleticism that you're talking about in the matches that we see those big spots, but it's the storyline part of it too that keeps us invested. And
totally,
they're hitting on all cylinders with their top guys right now, and it's which direction are they going? And then you fast forward. So Package Pile Driver looked devastating. Like, this was the most devastating looking one. More so than the Cody one. Definitely more so than the Randy Orton one.
The Randy Orton one wasn't even a package pile driver.
No.
It was just a normal pile driver, but he's
the longest
of anybody. But I guess he has neck history.
Yes, for sure. But this one looked devastating. If this is leading to a KO Sammy Mania match, I'm all here for it. And then you get the promo last night from KO, and again, I thought Drew was good at playing the victim. KO does it where I'm believing him. Like, he's Sammy, you were out there, you watched what Cody did to me, and you did nothing.
And the way he did it though too, it's like, he tried to end my career. Hell, he tried to end my, and then he just keeps talking. Like, end his life, but he doesn't say that.
Yes.
But like, just the way it was, that's the way it was.
Masterclass, just all around. Like, so you go from Seth masterclass on the mic to ending with KO this on SmackDown on them in his promo. It's just, I'm loving every minute of it. It's so good, so good.
I agree, and I disagree.
Oh, okay.
In certain ways. And,
all right.
And let me break it down. First off, I had a note about this thing as well. I first off said, why the fuck are Sammy and Punk against each other to qualify? To me, just on like the surface level, it made no sense. To me, it was those two should have been shoo-ins to both be in the fucking Elimination Chamber.
I agree. I
so
do
that
agree
pissed
with
me
that.
off that I was like, the first fucking qualifying match that we're getting for this are two of the biggest fucking stars that should both be in the chamber. Why the fuck are we getting this? Because then it was like, immediately I knew Sammy was not going to be in the Elimination Chamber.
See,
Punk's going to be.
I didn't know that.
I feel like that was extremely obvious. Punk is going to be in the Elimination Chamber. You have Cena already declare himself. Punk has already addressed that Cena declared himself. And
I thought that was super cool too.
Yeah, same. But like that, so that was, again, that's what led, I was like, okay, so Punk's winning this match.
See, I was leaning in.
I felt like I didn't think there was any opportunity for Sammy to be in the Elimination Chamber.
I was leaning into your thoughts from last episode where there's a potential for Sammy to go heel, and I thought potentially in this match it could have been something. So that's where my head was at. But I do agree with you. I thought having Sammy and Punk in the Elimination Chamber makes more sense. I thought it was on paper. I thought, to your point, was a shoo-in.
And so what that kind of leads me to is I do love the fucking storyline builds and everything that they're doing with it. If it wasn't the time of the year that it was, I would be on fucking fire because of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what bothers me the most is how many times are we going to see these fucking amazing, perfect storylines play out at the expense of Sami Zayn being pushed as a fucking star? Because that's what's happening. No argument. Like, Sami Zayn should be in the fucking main title, main card picture, and we had both felt very strongly that like there was potential for this to be the year that he could be there. And now we're going to, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion that like we're going to get this side fucking match at one of the nights of WrestleMania between KO and Sammy. That's going to be this blood feud thing.
Yeah.
That we've seen already now countless times between them. And is it fucking amazing every time? Are they fucking toasted matches every time? Is it a banger? Abso-fucking-lutely. These guys have been wrestling each other for fucking 25 years almost. Mm-hmm. They're fantastic in the ring together. And I 100% stand by that. And I get that. And I love it. But Sammy has been essentially made expendable against Roman Reigns during that whole thing. Like the first time he got a shot at a world title was he wasn't winning that match. Nobody thought he was winning that match. They weren't ending Roman's reign during that at that point. Nobody thought Sammy was beating Roman in that situation. Absolutely no, that wasn't happening. Gunther, nobody thought Sammy was beating Gunther for the world title.
Can I interrupt just one?
Sure, go for it.
The Roman Reigns Sammy storyline, though, that's what really edged me to want to like for sure do this podcast. And
but that's what I'm saying. That's
fully
exactly what I'm saying is
and believing into the storylines again.
Sammy has been used for fucking going on 10 years now. Mm-hmm. As a pawn in storyline building because he's one of the best storytellers on the mic, in the ring, backstage, social, like anything. He's one of the best. But it's at his expense of not pushing him to a fucking title. And he needs to have a fucking legitimate run with a world title. And he hasn't had that.
I'm going to say...
And he's not getting it now in the next 4 months.
I'm going to say trust in Triple H in this. I think these are all bits to feed into the bigger story. And I think he is on the horizon of getting that championship. And they're going to use these beatdowns where
what story are they going to come up with? Time out. Hold on. What story are they going to come up with that would have been better than the one proposal that I laid out from last weekend that would have seen KO beating Cody and then turning on Sammy to then have that fucking match at WrestleMania for the title? I don't think there is a storyline with any other character that could make it bigger than KO. And now we're going to get that at WrestleMania. More than likely. I will be absolutely fucking mind blown if that's not the match at WrestleMania. One of the nights. But it's not for a title, so it doesn't mean as much. Because we've seen the non-title KO Sammy feud. We were friends, but now we're not. We've seen that same fucking story play out how many times now?
I think it's going to play out better than we've ever seen it, though.
And I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is I think it's going to be better than it ever has been, too, because all they keep doing is getting better, dude. That's all they're doing is rising and constantly rising, but it's not for a title, so it means the same.
I'm going to agree with you.
It means the same fucking thing.
I don't know that there will be a storyline because I disagree with the KO being the biggest one. I don't think there was a bigger storyline than Sami and Roman last year. That was, to me, like the ultimate storyline to get him to win the championship. It fits so well. But I think they're just going to lean into the...
I disagree with that because there was not a single part of you that thought Sami was going to win that match.
To me, I did.
Bullshit.
I did.
Bullshit. You did not think Sami was winning that match. The entirety of Roman's reign was to push him towards the longest reign in fucking modern history. And that's what they did. But the only people that have held the title longer than Roman are who, Tim? Who?
Hulk Hogan and
Bruno Sammartino or whoever the fuck it was, right? And then Bob Backlund.
Yep.
So 3 dudes from fucking 80s prior, right? Like, they pushed Roman. Nobody was beating him during that reign until what happened at WrestleMania last year. And that was the only fucking match during Roman's entire reign that actually had anyone be like, well, honestly, it was the fucking first WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania 39, right? Where everyone was actually legitimately shocked that Roman won. They thought Cody was going to win the first year, which then built to Cody winning the second year. But no time before that was it a realistic match. Every single thing went in, oh yeah, the Bloodline's going to interfere, and they're going to cost whoever it is the fucking match. It happened to... everyone.
Yes, it did. I disagree.
It was not believable.
I fully believe Sami was going to do it, and I have the receipts for it.
I would be willing to bet that if you could pull the WWE universe,
100%. I agree.
You would be in probably like the
very minority
3 percentile.
Yes, 100%.
Nobody fucking thought that it was real. But it wasn't realistic.
But that
because they didn't build it to be.
Was the magic of wrestling in that storyline. I believed that Sami could do it, and I was fully on board. And I still to this day go, that was the moment to pull the trigger on Sami's. Like, it was such.
Look at what he's done since then, that's what's bringing me to how fucking irritated I am with the entire situation. Is you felt that way about then? Look at what he has done since, and he has not been given an opportunity realistically. Him versus Gunther, he wasn't winning that.
No.
Because that was like right at the beginning of Gunther's fucking reign. And all the build for Gunther to be the World Heavyweight Champion, like he wasn't winning that fucking match, right? So it was like Jey versus Gunther a few weeks ago. It was a fucking great match. There were moments in it where you were like, are they going to fucking do this? But you didn't actually think it was going to happen, right? And it's the same idea there. Sami has done so fucking much over the last 6, 7, 8 years and has not been rewarded in it.
I think they're going to play just like the Daniel Bryan, like the Kofi Mania, like they're going to feed into that and show all the defeats he's taken, how close he's been to make it a bigger moment. I don't think it's going to be as good of a storyline as it could be. And I agree with you on that point, but I think it's still going to feel big. Think about Jeff Hardy winning the championship. Like, there was moments that led to his first one where we're like, well, that was a time to do it. That was a time to do it. And then when he finally did it, it was still a big moment. Was it as good of a storyline as it could have been? No. And to that detriment, I definitely agree with you. It's not doing a service to him.
I just don't see how you can go bigger than what the potential for this WrestleMania would have been with the setup that they had.
Yeah.
That I think is the biggest issue that I have with it, is now you're going from what could have been the fucking one of the craziest, most emotional, most personal fucking storylines involving a world title that could have been, and you could have had Cody fucking drop it at the Royal Rumble and it would have been okay. The whole finish the story, like, it's so fucking overdone now that you could have had Cody drop the title at Royal Rumble and it would have been okay. Like, you could have had KO win that match and it would have been fine.
I agree with you. I do.
Right?
I do.
And that would have then potentially led to Sammy and KO then headlining, main eventing WrestleMania for the title, which has almost 30 years of story build to it. And now you're going to put it as one of the mid-card matches, because we're going to get it.
Yeah.
I think we're stupid to think that it's not going to happen. We're going to get it at WrestleMania. But now it's going to be one of the mid-card matches that's going to be, storyline-wise at least, probably outdone by the main event of whatever night that is. Match-wise, probably not, because those two are going to put on a fucking banger.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, and it's just, I think, believe in Triple H, yes. But currently, in this exact right now moment landscape, they're doing Sammy dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And there could have been so much more done. And that's where my disappointment stems from. It's just like, fuck, man. They could have, if KO would have fucking won on Saturday and then he came out and cost Sammy the fucking shot at the Elimination Chamber, that would have been better than what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that could have happened, ways they could have gone with it.
I'm going to pitch to you one idea.
Okay, pitch it.
Pitch it. All right. So the one thing that I think can outshine all of this is, and it's kind of one of my other talking points, is Solo came back on SmackDown. What if Roman is going back to the dark side and he takes over the new bloodline and wreaks havoc on the roster for a year, becomes champion, and then next year Sammy is the one to end Roman for the championship. You have the bloodline feud and everything that I was just talking about, and then you get Sammy to be the knight in shining armor to beat Roman.
I don't like it.
All right. Well, I like it. So
I think here's the reason is we just went through 8 months, right, of the OG bloodline and the new bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
It would make no sense for Roman then to
Solo
Solo
said he would acknowledge him if he won the Ulafala back. So to me, it makes sense.
Okay.
To me, the bloodline does not feel that match did not.
The bloodline needs to be done.
But
That's
it doesn't feel
end. It needs to be over, and that's why I didn't actually write it down, but one of my issues with last night was Solo returning in that match.
Oh yeah,
that annoyed me. That bothered me for multiple. There's a fucking multitude of things that I was just like, what the fuck?
I 100% agree.
Now we're gonna get Cody versus Solo at Elimination Chamber probably for the fucking third or fourth fucking time that Cody's gonna win. And it's going to be fucking annoying. We're going to get to see that. And it fucking fake ass bikes and shit. And it's stupid. I fucking hate that. But you have been, since Solo randomly showed up the one day, didn't say anything, and then got fucking booed out the goddamn place. And Jacob is kind of taken over as being like this fucking rising star. He's fucking on the mic better than anyone in the bloodline has done it outside of The Rock and maybe Jey, I guess. But even Jay's not. I think Jacob's better on the mic.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the best on the mic outside of The Rock. The Rock's probably the best bloodline member to ever fucking touch a microphone for obvious reasons. But Jacob is so fucking good on the mic. He's like blossoming into his own thing. But now I feel like Solo coming back last night just cement like he's gonna I love you Solo, and it's gonna go back to that. That's what it feels like. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. Mm-hmm. What I would love to see would be Jacob versus Solo.
Yeah.
That would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
To see Jacob like fucking win that, and then Jacob versus Roman and Jacob win that, and like push these young dudes that Roman can't fucking stay on TV for long enough to actually fucking matter anymore. He is nothing to me anymore with this current situation that we have going on.
Yeah.
We didn't see you for a fucking month and a half, and then, or a little over a month, and then since you won the fucking one of the biggest matches of your fucking life, we were waiting the fucking tribal combat to become the fucking tribal chief, but now we haven't seen you live until the Royal Rumble, and then you get fucking double stomped, and now you're out until fucking WrestleMania probably. Fuck you. Like, he's one of the worst characters in the history of the fucking company. It's crazy. Because of that. Because of his fucking work schedule and the lack of commitment to the fan base. It's so bad. But I think if your scenario were to play out, I still don't think Sammy makes sense to be the one that does it. It would be Jey. It would be Jey. That's the one that makes the most sense. He's actually family. He's the biggest face that we just talked about in the fucking last 30 years almost. He's the one that would make the most sense. But for Roman to go through everything that he just went through to then just side with Solo again anyways doesn't make any sense to me either. So
he wants the championship, though. You could make a storyline around this.
Sure, you could, but it wouldn't be clean. It would be ugly. It would be messy, and I don't know how I think right now is the perfect time to end the bloodline. End it. It's been fucking 6 years. And it was one of the greatest. It was legitimately one of the greatest stories in the history of the business. Mm-hmm. End it. You would be ending it perfectly if it just doesn't continue. Yeah. With that tribal combat thing, Roman won. He's the tribal chief, but just drop that moniker and move on. It doesn't need to. He's not going to be the tribal chief for the rest of his fucking career. That wouldn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
yeah.
Is there more that you could do with it? Sure, but you'd be milking it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. It's like you would be milking it at that point. You have built the group that you have to be these independent stars in their own right, with Roman fucking living in a goddamn travel trailer that shows up once every fucking 6 months. Cool, whatever. But you have Jimmy, who is fucking making his own goddamn name, and he's growing, and he is fucking rising, and I'm actually irritated that he didn't win that triple threat match last night on SmackDown, because I thought that would have been a fucking cool story. You have...
anyways.
You have fucking Jacob fucking rising. You have so much potential with Solo. You have Jey, the obvious situation that he's in. Drop the fucking bloodline storyline. None of them need that now.
Yeah.
You just grew everybody that you had to grow into what they fucking are now. So much potential. The bloodline buries everyone else under Roman. That's what it does. And Roman isn't worth it. He has shown that over the last fucking 2 years that he can barely show up to fucking TV.
The crowd loves him, though. The crowd loves him. They react to him. Okay. We just talked about how Jey gets it and how the internet wasn't happy. The internet may not be happy with him, but the crowd reacts to Roman. So whether we like it or not, he draws the numbers.
The crowd reacts to Roman right now because of the situation with Solo and Jacob.
Yes.
It's all storyline driven.
Oh, yeah.
You got to keep that in mind.
For sure.
For a good portion of his fucking run, there weren't many people doing this in the fucking stands.
No.
People were over him.
Yes.
And people were rooting against him every fucking step of the way until he lost to Cody. Yeah. And then they built this whole fucking thing to bring Roman back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's all manufactured.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. It's not, like, Jey is not manufactured.
No.
That's the thing.
That's
like
organic.
You just said, that is organic.
Yes.
Jey is organically over. Roman has never been organically over. Not a single fucking time in his goddamn career has he been organically over.
Agreed.
Seth has. Dean Ambrose has.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Roman has never been, because of those three. Roman is the absolute fucking worst of the three in the ring till today. He's still one of the fucking worst wrestlers ever. He's fucking terrible in the ring. He's not good. He is worse than the 5 moves of doom of John Cena. He hits a Superman punch and he hits a spear. He has like 3 total fucking moves that he does. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, nothing about Roman Reigns is organic. It's all been manufactured. It's all been forced on us. So, yeah, the crowd loves him. The crowd loves him because it's a manufactured love him right now, because he is, for whatever reason, he's the Superman to fucking Solo's Krypton, or fucking Lex Luger.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know.
All right, well, we got off on a huge ass tangent.
Yes, we did. All right, what's your next thought? Was it
no,
me or you?
You're next.
It's me? All right. That was one of the best conversations we've honestly
For
had.
sure.
On
A lot of disagreements.
That was good though. That was all around. I loved that. That kind of covered that one for me. So I'll drop that one. And that one. I only have one left.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of surprising because I had so many, but you've hit a few of them for me. The only really last thing I had to say was that I thought the triple threat qualifier on SmackDown last night, the lead up to it, well, the match itself was fucking good too. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing, but the lead up to it was similar to the kind of the
Raw side of
Raw
things.
promo
Seth
lead up.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking great. McIntyre coming out.
I thought it outshined it.
I thought it did too. And then Jimmy coming out. That's why I didn't have anything about the lead up on Raw.
Yeah.
I had this because I was like,
you didn't have anything, and that was our
how
longest
many
conversation.
how many times have we had? Yeah, I know, right? How many times have we had Jimmy?
He cooked.
Just fucking shine on the mic like that.
That was by far his best
It was
on the
so
mic.
good. And I loved too that there was no retort.
Yeah.
There was nothing almost. Like
Yeah.
it was Drew came out and Drew said his piece, gets interrupted by Jimmy. Jimmy comes out, says his piece, and Drew's was fucking fire. Jimmy comes out, that was fucking toasted. LA Knight comes out, fucking drops a banger on the mic. Like all three of them were just back to back, but there was no back and forth arguments.
No.
And I really liked that. I don't know why, I guess. Maybe we're so used to the back and forth that it was just it felt refreshing almost to have Drew come out and just fucking give his piece, get interrupted, and then Jimmy comes out and gives his piece, and then LA Knight comes out and gives his piece. I will admit I was a little disappointed in the outcome of the match, and I get it, but I also am like, Drew's been pushed so fucking much. Mm-hmm. Neither Jimmy or LA Knight have been pushed. Yes, LA Knight had the fucking championship match against Roman Reigns, but that goes back to what we were just fucking talking about. He wasn't winning that. That wasn't a realistic thing. That was more or less a filler match. That was one more thing to be able to pad Roman stats with, he's defended it so many times in those 17,000 days he was champion that he showed up 7 times for. Like, it wasn't a realistic thing. So it's like LA Knight, he is still one of the most over fucking superstars. The fans go crazy for him when he comes out.
Yeah.
I would say the fans go crazy probably fairly equally for all three of those competitors that were in that triple threat match. Mm-hmm. They all, like, every time any of their music hit, there was a huge pop last night. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was a miss to not put Jimmy in this match.
I will disagree.
I feel like I know why you're going to disagree. And it's probably because of the storylines of the buildup with the people that are in the Elimination Chamber, so far, but who will end up being, which is going to be Seth Rollins, is going to end up being in it too. Mm-hmm. So then you have Seth Rollins and Punk and Drew. And I get that, and I understand that side. But you also, at some point, you got to fucking push other people. Mm-hmm. And just like you have this organic fucking shit going on with Jey, Jimmy could be doing the same fucking thing. And that was one of the things where I was like, oh my God, how cool would it have been to have like a storyline to be able to build towards with Jey main eventing one fucking night and Jimmy main eventing the other. That would be awesome. Jey going against Gunther in a realistic thing, and then Jimmy going against Cody would have made all the more sense too, because Jimmy and Cody have never been fucking buddy-buddy. All they've done is pretty much butt heads or been at each other's throats, or Jimmy has cost Cody. You know what I mean? Like, that would have made sense. But then you could have had so much storyline built up too, because Jey and Cody have had such camaraderie. Yeah. But then it's Jimmy and Jey are brothers. You know what I mean? Like, you could have had so much stuff. So I just felt like it could have been something that could have been like a really cool fucking WrestleMania moment for the Usos. To potentially both go on and headline back-to-back nights of WrestleMania and both win titles. It felt like an opportunity to have an Eddie and Benoit moment. Yeah. To me. Oh yeah. And that is something that doesn't come along very often, to have that true organic fucking moment. And that's kind of why I was bummed. I get Drew winning it. Totally understand that. I just feel like Drew's been, one of the overarching superstars for the last few years, and he has this crybaby fucking vibe to him that is just woe is me everything, and he's really good at it.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it's really good at it. But you also have these two other stars.
Yeah.
Like legit stars in their own right that have kind of built their own fucking foundation. Drew, once again, Drew has been kind of a manufactured product.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that necessarily as a hit to him, because he's done a lot of really good stuff. But his creation was more manufactured than either of the other two. Like LA Knight happened very organically, and Jimmy, since he's broken free of everything else that he has kind of been pinned down under for the last few years, his like everyone's behind him too, because I feel like the fan base kind of to a point wants the same thing for him that Jay's getting right now. Yeah. And like I was like, oh, how that would be fucking dope. So I was really rooting for Jay in that match.
Jimmy.
Sorry, Jimmy. I was rooting for Jimmy in that match, and like I said, I get it. I was a little disappointed, but I understand it. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm not mad about the outcome. I just like, there's a part of me that wishes it could have been Jimmy because of the whole other scenario that I just laid out.
Yeah,
like it would have been dope.
I was disappointed that these three were put in a triple threat, whereas like CM Punk Sammy was in a singles match for elimination. Why is this one a triple threat on SmackDown?
But then we're getting another triple threat next week on SmackDown.
And then
why was the Raw one's singles match?
And probably Seth Rollins will be a singles match too.
I'm
assuming, but
against who?
It was I don't know, maybe
Seth. I'm thinking who else is on Raw?
Maybe Sheamus.
I don't know. I think we're gonna keep that brewing, Sheamus and Braun Breaker. But
that's why I was gonna disagree with you, because you alluded to it last week. Was Jimmy you thought maybe Shinsuke US title match is what? So I was okay with him, but I like your scenario. It doesn't happen that often. It would be super cool.
It would have been such an organically just cool fucking thing to have those huge brothers. You'd have Rikishi out there, obviously. Yeah. Like it would have been a whole thing. It would have been cool. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you would have ended up getting like Roman, and like you could have pushed this to be like a full bloodline unison. Yeah. Like unifying thing, right? Yeah. If you want to do the whole bloodline thing, but you could have had fucking Jacob, Solo, Roman, Rikishi, The Rock, like everybody come out and just give kudos to these tag team wrestlers that are now both world champs. Like that would have been it could have been such a cool thing. Yeah. And that's kind of where that was more of a hopeful disappointment for me. Was just I was like, that would be so fucking dope. Yeah. And think about the build to WrestleMania where you have Yeet, no Yeet, like you have them back to back, like it all would have been so organic, and they could have played off each other on every show, and it could have just been so fucking cool. Yeah. And like I get it, like I said, I understand it, but it like there was such potential for it to be such a cool thing, and I think the biggest disappointment for me is it can never happen again. Yeah. Like it will never happen now, because if they don't have Jay win at WrestleMania, I might stop watching wrestling.
That was bad for our podcast, and so you gotta watch.
I know.
Jay, you better win.
I know. Like Tim, the whole belt section is you talking. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm boycotting. Nope, I'm not doing it because it won't make any sense for him to not win. Like that, like he has to win at WrestleMania, and that's why like I'm putting that much onto it, because like he has to win. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is organically, like this will never have the opportunity to happen again.
No, for sure.
And so it's just like, fuck, that could have been so dope. Yeah. And it'll never happen now. Yeah. And it's like, same thing if you think back to Eddie and Guerrero winning, or Eddie and Benoit winning on that same night, or whatever it was. It wasn't the same night, was it? Was it?
No. Well, Eddie retained
and then Benoit won. Yeah. But still, like
that moment was very organic.
Yeah, that moment happening organically, and then like if it didn't happen that year, it never would have happened, because obviously of the way life played out. Yeah. Right? Like it wasn't that much longer later and they were both dead. Mm-hmm. So it's like that could have been this year, and we're not going to get it. And I was just like, fuck, man. And I didn't like, none of that came together until I saw the graphic that Jimmy was in that triple threat. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? I was like, oh, this could be so cool. And my mind started working. And then when Drew won, I was like, fuck, we're never going to get that. That could have been such a dope moment. But
Yeah. I too had this talking point. I agree with you. The mic work was just incredible. This is Jimmy's. I would say this is going to be his like one click moment where he now is his trajectory from that promo, because it just hit on every point. And then LA Knight followed it up, and I read a lot about there was some bickering between Drew about being mad about Royal Rumble, and
he like stormed out of Royal Rumble because of LA Knight.
Yeah.
And that,
and how,
to me, kind of alludes more to my disappointment with them pushing Drew still, is like, okay, Mr. Ego, fucking figure it out.
Yeah, but I wonder if that was just maybe like a planted storyline, because then he quickly gets moved to SmackDown. Like Drew is now on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Which this transfer portal, again, is
Makes
confusing
no
the
sense.
fuck out of me. And before WrestleMania, why do this? Like, just have everyone integrate, because it creates confusion. They're gonna be on both shows anyways.
Yeah.
Do it afterwards. It doesn't make sense before WrestleMania. Anyways,
what show's KO on now that he's done with Cody's storyline? Because he showed up on Raw and attacked Sammy, but then he did a video package for SmackDown. So it's like,
and then we're gonna say, oh, a last minute move before the transfer portal. KO's now Raw. That's what I picture. But anyways,
that's what I'm assuming too.
But that element, him feeding into that, whether that storyline is planted or organic, was perfect. It was the chef's kiss on top of two other great promos.
I loved the whole, like, he like goes into the camera and was like, if you guys, like, men, boys, if you guys gotta cry, you let it out, because that's good for your mental health and like all that stuff. And I literally out loud, I was like, hell yeah, because that's fucking awesome. I'm a health and fitness teacher. I teach about mental health. Like, I was like, that's fucking dope. We've never had something like that said on fucking live wrestling. No. Like, that's fucking cool. I was like, that was super. That was awesome. I thought that was super cool. But then he also then turned it into Drew. He then turned it into a fucking joke on Drew, and I was like, that's even better. I was like, that's so fucking awesome that he had like a legit, real emotional moment with the fan base. And then immediately flipped it to being like, but there is a line that you can cross. Don't be a bitch like that, dude. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. That was so good.
And then for him to fit I have to get my stuff in line. He was like,
I forgot my own stuff. And whose game is it? So good.
It was killer. And then the match was great. And then that ending, whether the disappointment, I agree with you. I like it.
And again, like I said, I'm not mad about it. It was just like my own, like, childhood, like, dreams of like, oh, what could be, and then it like ended the way it did. I was like, fuck. I was like, oh, I built this up so much in my head that I was disappointed with it. But the whole match itself was dope. The finish to it,
so good,
was fucking clean. The Claymore to the back of the head to the BFT was. I was like, okay, that was fucking sweet. And as soon as it hit, I was like, damn it, Drew's gonna win this.
So that part was good.
And for the storyline purposes, like I said, in the cell, it makes sense to me. And I feel like the storyline, I'm predicting Elimination Chamber right now. Cena's going to win. I think Cena's going to win the Chamber, and it's going to have a huge role. Those storylines, those integrated storylines. I don't even know who the other fucking two people in the Elimination Chamber are going to be. But the two storylines there, or the three between Seth, Punk, and Drew, are going to end up costing each other that match, and that's going to lead to Cena winning. That's my prediction a month early. That's what I'm doing.
Remember this. Mark the calendar.
Yeah, mark it.
All right, since that was your last talking point, I just got two small ones. I'm going to go to the one we've already alluded to, just Solo. It doesn't make sense for him to be in the title match. I was excited to see him, but again, at the same point, I'm like,
I would have been excited to see him in a different context. I was not excited for this.
But he attacked Cody. He's already lost to Cody numerous times.
3 times in the last 4 months.
He's lost to Roman. There's no credibility for him to be in the main event for the title match.
Not at all.
So that part,
Jacob of anyone, should be. Like, if anything, Solo should be the one in the fucking triple threat match.
So maybe they can build a storyline from that. Hopefully. hopefully, maybe it is a Solo versus Jacob something at Mania. Maybe something will come of that. But for the meantime, I'm like, really? It does not make sense for him. So that was
Solo. Like Jacob wins the triple threat next week, and then Solo comes up out of the chamber and costs Jacob the shot because he's like, "You're my right hand. You shouldn't be in this situation," type of thing.
something
That could
like,
be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That could be a cool lead to WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah. I guess
Better than the fucking prediction that I saw on Facebook today of the WrestleMania cards was fucking Braun Strowman and Jacob.
Oh, no.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody. That's
Hunter,
that's
Paul,
a SmackDown match.
Paul Levesque, look at me. It's one that already happened. We don't need it again. We're going to get the triple threat this next week. We already had them in a singles match. We're going to get the triple threat with Damian Priest. We don't need to see Jacob versus Braun Strowman again. Don't let that happen. Please don't let that play out.
No.
Hunter, I'm asking you. I'm begging you.
Mania season. Don't do it.
Give Jacob Fatu better.
Big match.
He
Big match.
deserves
He deserves it.
better.
All right.
What was your second one?
Last talking point, and it's going to feel nonchalant to the rest of what we talked about.
Should have said it first, Tim.
I get it. But Street Profits, they've turned heel now, and
the video package was fucking dope.
But it was super
It was
great.
cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Like
I
they
did like
tried
that.
to be heels with Bobby Lashley. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
and it just did not fit. It did not hit right.
What was that
and
called? Like the Hurt Locker or something like that? Like what the fuck were they?
They were trying to recreate the Hurt business. Hurt business or something. Anyways, they were trying to recreate it. It wasn't hitting.
Yeah.
But this feels legit. Fucking, I didn't know. Not Montez, but the other one.
Fuck.
Montez
Montez Ford and God damn it.
Fuck. Anyways, I didn't know he could cook on the mic.
I know. He fucking cooks so
And
good. The bigger one.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
I thought that. I almost
Montez
thought
Ford's
it was.
always been the one that I forget too. Like for some reason that name I've always remembered the other one and now I can't.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
But yeah, no, he cooked on the mic. I think this is the perfect transition to no heel. They feel like heels. It almost feels like they're trying to copy that Hurt Business, but without Bobby Lashley. And I think this time it's hitting. And again, we've been on the precipice of it, but it feels like the SmackDown tag team division is about to just blow up in a great way.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with fucking Pretty Deadly winning that match last night. Like
And
that
they cooked too.
Yeah, they did so well. So it was like you have fucking
Motor City Machine
Los,
Guns, DIY, Los Garças.
Yeah, Los Garças, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly. Like it's like, oh shit.
This is a collision path.
Yeah, this is going good. That video package with the Street Profits felt like it was kind of like the Dudley Boys and APA had a baby in like their promos, right?
Angelo Dawkins.
Angelo Dawkins. That's what it is. Yeah.
No fact check for you, my friend.
Nope. Thanks, dog. Appreciate you. How embarrassing would that have been if we had to fact check a current wrestler's name?
God.
All right, Tim. Well, that brings us to our banger of the week this week. I feel like we're gonna have the same, but what do you got?
I got CM Punk versus Sammy.
Same. That's what I put too. And I too. I didn't say this earlier, but I too thought about Liv and Io because it was such a good match.
It was so.
But
good.
even without the finish, the CM Punk Sammy match fucking cooked, dude. It was so good.
I think this is minus the Hell in the Cell match. I think this was CM Punk's best match back
Easily, and I still think this was his best match.
No, I agree.
Back.
Like you had a lot of storyline.
The Hell in a Cell was so much storyline. It was so personal, but like you have to think with the stipulation of what a Hell in a Cell is. There's so many more factors involved.
Yeah,
this was just a clean one-on-one match in the middle of the ring. This was his best match back, I think, hands down.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it was. It
That's
would have
saying
been
a lot because we both put that Hell in a Cell match as like our match of the year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, like, that's saying a lot, and that's how good this fucking match between him and Sammy were.
Yeah, I hope there's a future match because and future storyline, and they definitely planted that, so it could happen again. That brings us to our belts question of the week. I pose this one. What stable or faction, whatever you want to call it, would you consider the greatest of all time? And then, what is your favorite one? If it's the same as your greatest, cool. But if your favorite one differs from the greatest, because there is a difference there, right?
Absolutely, there is, for sure.
So, what is your greatest? What is your favorite?
I do agree with you that there's a difference there. However, mine are the same.
Okay, all right, perfect.
And I'm actually very curious to see what yours is here, because I do feel like it's going to be different. I don't feel like we're going to have the same.
Okay.
At least, okay. I feel like you might have it different for both questions.
Yeah, I think this one, I feel like we're going to have different ones.
Mine are the same.
Okay.
So I have one faction that I will talk about here, but I feel like you're going to have two.
I do have two.
Okay, that's what I felt. So I was like, I feel like we're going to be off here. And I don't know that mine is... I feel like we would have one of them would be the same, but I don't know that we will.
Yeah. That's the fun of this.
I know. DX.
Okay. That is not the one I got.
For either?
For either.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I went DX. For me, that was always, and still is, like, the music, the meaning, the members, the fucking thrill that you get when you hear that music hit, the crowd involvement, the like, just all around is everything. For me, I'm like, and so for that's more for like why it's my favorite, I guess. So like who my favorite is. If I'm going to what do I consider the greatest, I still feel like it's them for what they meant at that moment. I don't know that they're, and again, like you have answered, so you can argue me on this, obviously, and with the answers you will, but it's whether it's an argument or not, it'll just be like it will have, you know, combative measures there. But I feel like if typically when you think of like the greatest of all time in any regards, in any scenario, whatever sport it is, whatever, you know, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I feel like one of the primary criteria that pops up for that is influential. How influential it was.
Yeah.
And you think about that time frame when DX really initially kicked off was in the middle of the Monday Night Wars. When WCW had NWO.
Yeah.
And DX almost realistically was kind of the fucking like the pinnacle point of the downfall of WCW. They had their own fucking storylines and shit that they fucked up that ultimately led to that. But DX being almost instantly bigger and more impactful and more story driven and just everything better in the ring for the most part, all around, just everything was just better with DX than NWO, really led to what we have now as a landscape of wrestling. Because if that whole thing in the 90s would have gone differently, we could be living in a different world right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we might not be doing this fucking podcast if WCW would have won that.
Yeah.
Wrestling might not be a fucking thing now. Like, realistically. Like,
no,
that's an
100%.
actual fucking, like, possibility that if they would have won that, if they would have stayed on the trajectory that they were on initially, outdueling WWE, if they would have stayed on that and crashed WWE out, we never would have gotten anything we got from 1997 on.
Yeah.
98 on.
Yeah.
Somewhere
97 to 99. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in that era.
Yeah.
Right. We wouldn't have gotten anything on. And like now we know, obviously hindsight's 2020, but now we know that like the people that were in charge were essentially fucking idiots for the most part of WCW. So it's like, had they won, they wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah.
So it would have just been like, fuck. And then it would have been like, like professional wrestling would have kind of become a joke almost. Like there's that possibility. So
yeah,
I went off on another tangent, but it's,
Hey, you're answering the question.
I think that's kind of the influence that DX had in that era, and I don't know that there is another one that has had the same impact on the industry as a whole of DX pioneering the way through, like DX and then Stone Cold's character really were like the pioneers of the Attitude Era, which kicked off a whole new fucking fan base of wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And that led to Ruthless Aggression, and that built a fucking gigantic fan base to withstand the next 10 years after that.
Yeah.
To then get back to a pinnacle of where we're at now type of thing, 10, 15 years after that, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it built enough fans to withstand the down years. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, that's why I went with DX. And I just, every time either Triple H or Shawn Michaels were on the screen when DX wasn't a thing, it was always kind of like, could it happen? I mean, like we have a running theme we do with Nathan. He's wearing green. Cena's joining DX. Like, but it happened. It wasn't just Cena. It was anybody.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting, and this is the crazy thing. The whole last weekend we were watching the Royal Rumble, nobody wore green.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for it because I was going to jokingly call that out. Never didn't happen.
Yeah.
Nobody wore green in the Royal Rumble last week. What the fuck? But anyways, so like, but that's kind of a testament to the longevity of DX.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
I like it, and I think this is a very easy one to argue who is the greatest. There's so many factors,
so many factions, right?
Yes.
So many stables or factions or whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
I actually had a really hard time. I thought this was easy for the greatest for me, but the favorite one was really hard for me. So
okay, cool.
So
that's actually kind of interesting because I feel like it almost would have been easier the other way.
Yeah.
Right. So you actually like kind of flipped that.
Yeah.
So you said you think the easiest
is the
to
greatest.
call the greatest.
Yeah.
So okay. So what was that then?
So my greatest, and I went from
this is gonna be hilarious if you say NWO.
And I went from accolades. So I said Evolution.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You have Ric Flair.
Yeah.
You got Triple H.
That makes sense to me.
And then you got Batista and Orton. You got, I think the name...
With Batista being arguably the least of the four. And I don't even know if that's arguable, honestly, at this point. Like, he was the shortest running and the least accolades.
But the moment he got to the main event was super impactful.
Yes, absolutely.
And to argue, he's one of the most successful Hollywood actors since going that route. But I thought the name fit them perfectly. You got the past with Ric Flair, you got the present at the time, it was Triple H, and then you got the future
of both of the
Randy and Batista, and just how many accolades you get out of that group. They've had Royal Rumble wins after Royal Rumble wins. You got title after title with that group. You got Ric Flair, who is tied with the record with most championships. It just
probably
has.
If you were to put it into like metrics of members of a stable that have main evented pay-per-views or PLEs, Evolution's probably at the top there too.
Yeah,
with probably close to. DX would probably be close to second just because it's that.
I would say that, or maybe the Shield, just because Roman was part of that. He's main evented the most WrestleManias now.
But just main event of WrestleManias. I'm talking just pay-per-views in general.
Yes,
so I mean, you're talking like DX, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels alone.
Yes, true.
Right.
True.
Like the main events there. Are
the only
the Shield would probably be close also.
The only argument you could take like that, and I actually lean into yours, is like they had the tag team New Age Outlaws is one of the best tag teams ever. And that was part of it. But
and like I think it was even more than that too, because it spanned so many people, right? You had DX, so you had two main eventers, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, who were consistently in the main event picture. You had the New Age Outlaws, who were consistently in the tag title. You had Chyna, who was consistently in the women's title, and you had X-Pac, who was consistently in the cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight European.
Yeah, Cruiserweight European. Yeah, that's
100%.
So like they're probably the most decorated stable at a time, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And then the other part of it was how
they
many
had more people too, but
more storyline wise, Evolution produced a lot of matches just from inside their group. Like they were a terror to deal with. They were like the Bloodline, and they're interfering in everyone's matches.
Yeah.
But then you got the thumbs down from Triple H, Randy Orton feud, and then you got the same with Batista, Triple H, and it was just story after storyline, and it all
Ric Flair's bleeding the whole way through.
Yes, exactly. So,
which was a storyline in and of itself.
So I put them at the greatest. Now, my favorite one. This one is
I'm very curious now because you said DX wasn't either of your answers, and then you just put Evolution, and you have a separate one for your favorite. So I'm like, who the fuck's your? Is it the Shield?
No. And
is it a WWE faction?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Time out. Fuck off. Don't say it yet.
I don't think you'll guess it.
Is it that obscure?
Yes.
As your favorite faction of all time?
Yeah.
Is it the Hart Foundation?
No.
Is it literally like that crazy? Kind of like that off?
I mean, I think people like this group, but I don't think they would necessarily
give me an era.
It's NXT.
Oh, God, I have no fucking idea then. So.
It's Undisputed Era. It was Adam Cole. It was Roderick Strong.
Okay.
O'Reilly. It was just a great NXT kind of brought me back into wrestling.
You named one person that I know.
What's that?
You said you named one person in that stable that I know, and that's Adam Cole, and he's in
AEW now. But what it did for me was because wrestling was on a bad trajectory for a long time there.
Yeah, for sure.
And the one thing that was bright spot was NXT, the black and gold brand. They were bringing in a bunch of indie guys, and the Undisputed Era was fresh during that time, and it was bringing me back to those days of Evolution to DX. It felt that big it was on a smaller scale, obviously, but they were great wrestlers. They were all doing one was tag team champions, one was going for the heavyweight title, one was going for the mid-card title. So they were covering all their branches there, and it really reignited my love for wrestling because there was just a big lull. It was like, why am I watching this?
Teetering,
like
for sure.
It was tough, but NXT really got me. I came up with a great podcast idea like during that time, and just was not brave enough to do it. So it really started my love to want to do this with you. So,
hell yeah.
So that is why. So it is an obscure one, but it has meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So
and you can fully hold your own at defending that, which is, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's fucking awesome. Well, that brings us to a Blockbusters. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Arrgh.
Captain.
My captain. We got a handful of things to talk about. Not a ton, but we have a handful of things to talk about this week. And you posed this first one. What do you got?
I got locked, and I actually wanted to talk about this last week, but with how loaded it was last week, I didn't feel like it was appropriate to do it. So because this trailer is so good. So the synopsis follows a thief who breaks into a luxury SUV, only to realize that he has slipped into a sophisticated and deadly trap.
The synopsis of this movie does about, I don't know, 1/8% of the actual fucking what you get out of the trailer.
100%.
Like, holy shit.
Which is why I like your rule of you need to watch if it has a trailer, watch it before you read the synopsis.
Yeah.
So I hope you did.
At the same time, I did read the synopsis because you told me that you added something last week. So I read it first.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the trailer until like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So like I read this last week just to see what it was. And I was like, oh yeah, I saw something about this.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what the synopsis does. Honestly, like, it's very forgettable. It's a very forgettable synopsis.
Yeah. Easy.
It does not do justice to the trailer in any way, shape, or form. The trailer for this movie, I was like, oh shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is fucking Uber meet Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is two things I never thought I would say together.
Ever.
But holy shit. Yeah.
Cast is Sir Anthony Hopkins and
Silence of the
Bill Skarsgård. Release date is March 21st, 2025. Platform, we are releasing in theaters, but holy hell, like, again, if I read the synopsis, I would be like, it's just a run-of-the-mill movie.
Interesting. Cool. Interesting, maybe. Whatever.
But
you watched the trailer?
Holy hell.
We've been on a really good roll of these horror thriller genre movies of just being like, oh, it starts out and you're like watching, you're like, oh, okay, cool, and then you're like, oh shit, okay, and then you're like, oh fuck, and then it's just like from there, it's just like a fucking cascade of just anxiety, right, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And, I mean, this is like 3 or 4 episodes straight where we have had movies that have built that same thing, and this might be the one that I'm most excited for of all of them that we've covered. And that's saying something because we've covered a lot of fucking good shit. This is, I'm like, oh, I watched the trailer. I'm like, I love Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Everything he's in, I'm here for.
Yeah.
Fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
He narrated How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. He was the narrator of that. One of the greatest voices in the history of cinema. And that's like primarily what you get in this, but then you actually get him in the physical too. Yeah. Towards the end of the trailer. Oh my God. Go watch this fucking trailer, guys.
The trailer will sell you on this movie.
Yeah.
Easily.
If you watch this trailer and you're like, that's not for me. Okay, then stop listening to our podcast because this is the type of shit that we love and we cover. If you listen to our show and like you will fucking dig this, go watch this shit. A month and a half away right now, and I can't fucking wait.
Yeah,
this might be one that we have to go see together.
I think
Tim,
so, for
like,
sure.
Legit.
It would, and it's crazy because Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
but I always forget how creepy he can be, and he seems so creepy in this too.
Yeah,
he's just vengeful and
I think that's
mastermind.
I think that's part of the character of Hannibal Lecter, though. Like you forget that because he is so creepy, but he's also very suave and very charismatic too. You know, and that's part of the. Oh goddamn! That's part of the
allure.
Yeah, kind of allure of him, right? Like. That's what made that movie what it was. Yeah. And you can definitely get that sense of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Fracture with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Like, same vibe.
Same vibe. Yes, absolutely.
Love that movie too.
So
if you haven't watched that, go watch that.
Yes, go watch that for sure.
Super excited for that. Very excited for this one.
I watched because this is like a teaser trailer for it, right?
It's not
and
the official.
I watched the teaser trailer for it, and then I like instantly I watched it and I was like, oh fuck yeah, and I like copied the link to the trailer and then I opened the agenda and I went to and I was like, he already did it. Fuck yeah. I was like, I figured like this was going to be on this week no matter what, because one of us was gonna add it because we both love this franchise. Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yeah.
You added it, so I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah, I alluded to it in one of the most excited things I am to watch this year episode on our New Year's episode.
Yep.
Love the franchise. But this is the newest chapter, so synopsis as goes. The newest chapter in New Line Cinema's bloody successful franchise takes audiences back to the very beginning of Death's twisted sense of justice. Final Destination Bloodlines, plagued by a violent recurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. Cast is Caitlin Santana, Teo Briones, Richard Harmon, Owen Patrick Joyner, Rhea Kilsted, Anna Lore, with Breck Basinger, and the late great Tony Todd. This releases on March 16, 2025.
That's not right. May 16th.
Yes.
2025.
May.
I was like, that's the wrong M month, Timmy.
May 16, 2025. Platform is on the theaters. These movies were just a lot of fun.
I
still cannot drive behind a log truck on the freeway because of that movie.
Yeah, or like almost every time I get into the shower, I contemplate, is there a clothesline? Is there a clothesline right here? No? Okay. I'm good.
After watching this trailer, I start, like, even with the older movies, it just kind of heightens your senses of what's happening around you. And you're like,
for sure,
is there any funny business going on? Because it's not my time.
Not my time yet. Now, the thing is, too, with this trailer, because it alludes to a new movie, but it alludes to very little else.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so then you read the trailer, and I'm thinking it says takes audiences back to the very beginning of Death's twisted sense of justice. But then the title is called Final Destination Bloodlines. So is this a prequel?
I think
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's very confusing because it says it takes it back to the beginning of Death's twisted sense of justice, but it's Bloodlines. So is this a prequel to the first, or is it a sequel of some form? And is it Bloodlines referring to the OG cast, or is it Bloodlines referring to the OG casts?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
like
100%.
To their ancestors, or like where is this at? And you don't get a feel for that really in the trailer because it's a tattoo shop.
Yeah, but the trailer, it like alluded to, I'm only here because of my family, and so it just kind of. I think it's to a family line to the OG cast, but I didn't even think about the prequel side of things.
Well, and the only reason is because reading the synopsis, like that first statement that it says is a successful franchise takes audiences back to the very beginning of Death's twisted sense of justice. And that, to me, sounds like it's the beginning is going to take place before the first movie.
Yeah. No, I did not even think of that.
So now I'm sitting here like,
it could go either way.
What's happening? I don't understand, but I'm very invested.
But I like that about this teaser is just it didn't give away a lot.
It gave away almost nothing outside of the fact that you know that motherfucker's dead.
Yes.
And he's like the only person in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like right there's like the one person he was tattooing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like
and they're gone.
Yeah, and then but it's just him pretty much in the tattoo shop, and all sorts of bad shit happens to him.
But he's
how
dying. Fun was it to watch that all happening again?
Yeah.
it felt
just like the shower scene.
Yeah.
Right? Or the teacher in the house.
Yeah.
Right? Like it felt just like very similar, where it was like this is happening, but then it cuts to like something else that's going on that you're like, oh fuck, that's gonna lead to something bad. And then it was just like a back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I think of some of the kills in the first one where it was like Sean William Scott. Yeah, there was the back and forth, but it was really just the one thing back and forth. It was the car getting hit by the train and the shard of metal getting ran over and fucking really vibrating and racking up, and then it's just he's just standing there giving this fucking monologue, yelling like "I'm not fucking," and then it fring and it cuts his fucking head off. Right, like that wasn't really a curiosity thing. That was more of a oh fuck, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah,
like you knew. Where like the shower scene was like, what the fuck's going on right now?
Yeah.
You know, like showed the clothesline across. It showed him fucking washing his hands or whatever the fuck he was doing. And then it showed like the water dripping, the leak, and like all this stuff. And then then ends up leading to him fucking slipping and falling and fucking getting asphyxiated, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was like one of the buildups. Or then the teacher in the house, like the music's on, and then this happens and that happens, and then she fucking gets impaled by all the knives, and the fucking house explodes. Like, there's so many things where like some of the kills were like that, and then some of them had long builds. This one feels like a long build in the trailer. So, holy shit.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love the slow build where you're just like going, oh, this part's going to play into it, and this part's going to play into it, but how is it all going to go down?
What's your favorite Final Destination movie so far?
I really enjoy number 2. I like number 2. I love the first one, obviously, but number 2, I think, held up. But I had a lot of fun throughout the first 5 of them.
Same.
What about you?
I feel like number 2 had the most like lasting impression on me.
Yeah.
Because of the fucking log truck and just that premonition. But then so many moments, the plexiglass falling.
Oh yeah.
The fucking the elevator, the barbed wire fence, the barbecue. Like there were so many kills in that movie that were just like, oh my God, there's moments in my life today where I'm like doing something and I think of it.
Yeah.
Right. Where in the first one, the shower one was probably really the only one that it really like sticks with me.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, there's not really very many other kills in the franchise that necessarily stick with me outside of the whatever premonition where they're on the field trip and it's the bridge.
Oh yeah.
Was that 3? Was that the carnival one?
That 3 was the carnival one with the roller coaster. But was that the one with the
bridge too? Was that the same one where it's like she had the premonition?
Oh yeah,
on the field trip.
Yeah,
because it was all like the high school kids, and then like the kid get the tanning booth, and then the kid gets his head smashed by the weights.
Yeah,
was that all the same one?
Yeah.
So that was that. Honest to God, there's not very many things I can think of off the top of my head about 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing really with those stuck with me, but I've seen them all.
Yeah. Number 2 also had like, I think the magnets on the refrigerator. You're just like looking for more clues. Like,
yeah, true.
I think
there was like a whodunit factor in number 2, right? Where it was it was like a Halloween movie where you're like looking in the background trying to see if Michael Myers is creeping behind a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that type
number
of
1
thing.
walked so number 2 could be successful.
Yes,
in that moment, and you were just you knew what to look for, but you were invested in it.
Yeah.
And again, I still cannot drive behind a log truck to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I think like that's probably why number 2 sticks out the most.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think like 1 definitely, like I said, has its moments with the shower and with the teacher in the kitchen with that type of thing. But then like the biggest moment from number 1 was the plane, like from in the beginning, right? That was the number 1 thing that is probably the most relatable to people. It's just like fear of flying and planes and like that type of thing, and like a plane crash.
I will still say the ending of that movie, like when they're supposed to be safe and and
then they're not.
That was a cool part.
Not,
but no, I agree.
For sure. Like that was definitely a big twist at the end. But then even number 2 with the barbecue exploding and the arm landing and the way that movie ended, you're like, this isn't over.
Yeah,
you know. But then it went from like at least number 1 to number 2 had continuity.
Yeah,
there was like no continuity.
Yeah,
really within the rest of the other 3.
Number 5 tried to bring it back.
Kind of tried to. Yes, but I'm trying to. That's the thing with 4 and 5 is that it all blends together for me, and I'm having a hard time remembering what the.
Well, the good news that it doesn't come out in March; it comes out in May, like you said.
Maybe I might have to watch the first 5.
Them. I got Final Destination 5 right on point right there.
Suspension bridge collapse.
Oh,
I was all fucked up. So that's how much the 3, 4, and 5 bleed. What the fuck is 4 about then? I don't think we've said anything about 4.
No.
What is 4 about? Do you remember? Can you remember?
4 doesn't 4 have the like car wash scene? Where it gets filled up with water.
I can't even fucking picture that. All I'm thinking of the drive-through.
Yeah, the like drive-through car.
No. Like the drive-through, like restaurant drive-through.
Oh yeah.
Scene, which I want to say is 3 as well, because that I think is the same one as the tanning booth.
No, I don't think it's part of 3.
Part 3 was tanning booth.
Yeah, part 3 for
and
sure.
The weight machine.
Yes.
And the carnival.
And the
nail gun. That was all 3.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I was just confusing that with the bridge suspension of 5. The suspension bridge of 5. I don't know if I remember any of the fucking kills in 5 outside of like the actual like premonition of the bridge collapsing.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I remember anything from 4. My brain is fucking...
It's right there. It's
right
on that
behind?
same shelf, right? To the left, right by final score. Right there.
Right here?
Yeah, it's a 4-pack.
Oh, it's a 4. Oh, well, that's not going to tell me anything.
It does. It has the blurbs on the back.
Final Destination 3 was the roller coaster. So, yeah, that was the fair one.
Yeah.
So, that's the one I was thinking of. Sure. Okay. The Final Destination is number 4. This was the fucking, like, NASCAR fucking weird one where, like, the tires flew off and killed people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was
That's
3D.
probably the worst one.
Yeah.
Probably. I think 4 is probably the worst one. I mean, it says from the directors of Snake Us on a Plane, so that's not very...
That's not saying much.
It's not really helping its case much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fucking rewatch all those movies now. I'm actually excited about that because I love the franchise. I legitimately do not. There's not a scene I remember outside of I remember tires flying off of a fucking.
But I think
speedway
to your
accident.
point, I think they kind of blur together after. Like 2 is notable. Number
Yes.
1 is notable. There's things.
There
in
are
3.
There like all of the kill scenes, like I just said in 3, I think are.
Yeah.
Memorable. The premonition in 5 is more memorable.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the premonition in. Well, I guess the premonition in 3 was the roller coaster.
Yes, the roller coaster.
The roller coaster goes
premonition.
off.
Yeah.
The fucking goes off and everybody dies. So that was the premonition. So I guess that's that. I remember the premonition of 5. That's it. And I guess the premonition, just reading the back of 4, was they were at the fucking
Speedway.
Speedway, and the crash happens and tires fly out and kill people.
Yeah.
Right. So the person, I want to say it's a girl, gets the group to leave or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's the premonition. But I don't remember any of the kills from 5
No.
or from 4 or 5. Honestly, I don't remember either. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
All right.
rewatch them.
there we go. That might be. This comes out in May. So all right,
Yeah.
we might have a little bit of a good binge recap for the next couple months.
Hell yeah.
Talking about some of the same movies. Cool. All right. We got High Rollers. The synopsis of this is Master Thief Mason is living the criminal's dream, island hopping with his crew and the love of his life, Decker, while floating on a sea of stolen cash. But his dream is shattered when his nemesis, the ruthless Salazar, kidnaps Decker and forces Mason and his crew to attempt a near-impossible casino heist in exchange for her return. Hedged in by Salazar's equally ruthless rivals and with the FBI on his tail, Mason gambles everything in pursuit of both the big score and the ultimate jackpot, Decker's life. The cast of this is John Travolta as the Master Thief Mason. Gina Gershon is Decker, and then Quavo is also in this. This is released March 14th of this year, and it will be simultaneously limited in theaters and on streaming platforms.
Okay.
I don't know what streaming platforms. It just said on streaming platforms. It's like DVOD and then some streaming platforms. So I don't know which one it's going to be on. That was not clear when I was researching this, but it will be limited release in theaters and on streaming as well. So you'll be able to find it to rent and or purchase and or potentially just stream.
Sweet.
So this is also apparently a sequel to 2024's movie Cash Out that I never saw or heard of.
Another movie that I need to watch.
Yeah. And I also don't know if this will be a fact check for myself. I don't know if Cash Out had John Travolta in it or not, or if it was just like kind of a sequel in the same world.
Oh,
or
okay.
if it's like character sequel, or if it's like just like the world or realm sequel. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Trailer looked fun.
it looked
I like these.
interesting, exciting.
I love heist movies
Same.
in general, but just This takes me back to like those action movies in the 90s. It just kind of
Outside of Armor.
Oh.
That was a heist movie.
No.
That could lick my butthole. That was fucking terrible. But anyways, yeah, I love heist movies, Tim.
But it brought me back to that feel of 90s action with not looking like the 90s. But it takes me back to that. John Travolta definitely fills that role really well. And Gina Gershon was in Face Off, right? She was the wife to Castor Troy.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
I was like,
The main thing I recognized her from this trailer is Psych.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch that show very much?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, there's an episode where they go. It's like an American Idol type themed show where like these deaths are happening and like they go on. And anyway, she was like the Paula Abdul judge.
Oh, okay.
She's like drunk and fucking like that type of thing. It was kind of a play on that. But anyways, that's where I kind of recognize her from. But yeah, I think you're right. She was in Face Off.
So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to fact check that. But
That's good.
I'm pretty sure she was the one. So it was fun to see that connection. But it looks like a fun movie. I legit excited for it. Like
Same. Like it has Ocean's vibes, but also with John Travolta not being the bad guy, it has what's the one where he is the bad guy on the fucking train?
Taking Pelham.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Pelham 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it kind of has like
Denzel.
Yeah, it kind of has that same vibe, but he is now the Denzel in this with like Ocean's vibes with the casino and all that. So heist and kind of had that same. Again, like if that and that had a baby, I feel like this would be this. I watched the trailer, and even though I knew it was like, oh, it's a sequel, I was like, the trailer for this looks dope, so I'm putting it on. And I didn't hear, like, we never talked about. Maybe the movie came out before we started doing the podcast. I don't know when it came out, but if it came out after, it was not on our radar. So we never talked about it. So we'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Looks fun.
Yeah.
That brings us over to the series side of things. I posed this one, The Residence. New Netflix show. Synopsis, 132 rooms, 157 suspects, one dead body, one wildly eccentric detective, one disastrous state dinner. The Residence is a screwball whodunit set in the upstairs, downstairs, and backstairs of the White House, among the eclectic staff of the world's most famous mansion. The cast is Uzo Aduba,
hell yeah,
Giancarlo Esposito, Edwina Findlay, and Molly Griggs, and Jason Lee. The release date for this is March 20th, 2025. And again, that platform's on Netflix. It's a mini-series, but I love a whodunit more than anyone.
Absolutely.
This has Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black as the eccentric detective. And it's almost the same, like it has the same character vibes.
Yeah, very similar. I was thinking the same thing.
I was laughing throughout the thing, but then just seeing who else is in it, we got Giancarlo Esposito,
phenomenal,
just phenomenal, and then just seeing Jason Lee on there as well, who's been in My Name Is Earl. He's in the Alvin and the Chipmunks, Clerks, you name it. He's been in it, along with a few others. So really excited for this one. Netflix has been stepping up their game.
Absolutely. They kind of had to, right? Like we were talking about this kind of on our off time earlier while we were getting set up, but it was like Netflix was like the OG streaming service.
Yeah.
And then they've kind of over the last, 5, 6, 10 years almost been like outdone by some of these other newer streaming services that are coming out. HBO and fucking Amazon Prime's putting shit out. Apple's putting fucking bangers out left and right.
Yeah.
Peacock's been putting good shit out too. So now like Netflix is really, and like it's not that they like went into a downfall.
No,
they've been fairly consistent, but now it's like I feel like we're seeing more shit stepping up with Netflix too.
I was getting mad with Netflix. I'm not happy about it. They've been upping the prices year after year, and they keep saying we're going to make good content with it. And for a while, I was feeling disappointed with the content. But
well,
now it's stepping
and the
up.
fact that too for a little while there they were like purging.
Yes.
Their platform of other content, and it was like all you could find was Amazon, or I almost said Amazon, Netflix original shit, which at that point like wasn't that good, and it was like, what the fuck? It was like, I used to watch fucking The Office, Scrubs, How I Met Your Mother, New Girl, Friends, like all of it on Netflix, and then they like purged all of that, and it was just like, god damn it, man. Now some of it's back, some of you can watch again on Netflix, but then they also have like really fucking good shit that they're putting out now.
Originals. So I'm excited for this one.
This trailer had a very fuck, dude. It's like Clue meets. God damn it! What is the fucking like Knives Out?
Oh yeah,
those movies, but also the fucking two that Johnny no, not Johnny Depp.
Murder on the
Orient Express.
Yeah, the Agatha Christie.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
And there was something else I was thinking of, but it's kind of eluding me now.
It definitely gives those vibes
but
of what you've listed.
It has a very, very like tonal setting to those things, and it I was like, fuck yeah, this looks good. I'm stoked for this.
Yeah. Sorry I had to make you watch this trailer
Murder
so
mystery
late into
too,
it.
like all of those. Yeah. Oh, you're good.
That brings us to our Fred section.
Fred. Follow-up, rumors, and early development.
Heck yeah.
So in the early development role of this, we have an untitled movie so far, but that has been greenlit and partially casted with Zac Efron and Will Ferrell. And the premise to this movie sounds fucking legit. Efron's character will reportedly be fresh out of prison and will take a reality TV courtroom hostage, blaming the megalomaniac judge, played by Will Ferrell, which is fucking perfect, for a conviction he believes ruined his life. It's from the director of You're Cordially Invited, Nicholas Stoller, which just recently premiered on Hulu in the last week. Oh, no, Amazon. Sorry, I think Prime Video. In the last week and a half, 2 weeks, with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon, which... Did you watch that yet?
I did watch it.
It's fucking hilarious. It was so good. But yeah, so from the same director of that, and sound like from the sounds of this, these are going to be perfect characters.
Oh yeah,
Will Ferrell playing a megalomaniac judge who's just like egotistical and whatever, and probably put Zac Efron away for like a false accusation that he wasn't actually, but it was just to get the fucking conviction or whatever for the judge. Like, and then he gets out, and now he actually does go and do the bad thing. Like, kind of a double Jeopardy-esque, and you got that fucking sitting right there that we talked about earlier too. Not the same exact vein, but like kind of a similar idea, right? Where it's like something bad happens to this person that didn't deserve it, but then they go and do something bad because of it, like that type of thing. Yeah, kind of the sense I'm getting for it. Again, there's like no other information about this. I just saw this part and I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is perfect for Fred.
Oh, so, absolutely. And and seeing that it was directed by your
and that movie was so fucking awesome,
and just fresh off of watching it, I was just fuck really yeah, I'm really excited for this.
All right, pardon me. Fantastic Four First Steps. We got
teaser.
Well, it's the official trailer.
That was the trailer? I thought that was the
teaser. I guess it's the official teaser trailer. I guess maybe during the Super Bowl tomorrow we might get like a longer one. Yeah. But I mean the one that we got was 1 minute and 40 seconds almost.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer of a trailer you're gonna fucking give.
I mean, that was the same with Deadpool Wolverine. It was a long teaser, and then you got the full, and you're like, hell yeah, hell
yeah. It gives you a little more. But yeah, so we got we got a what was it? We got like a 20-second initial drop of them just like like raising on the podium or whatever it was. We got a couple poster releases that were heavily criticized due to the speculation of it being AI generated, and Marvel has come out and said that it was not AI generated. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. The trailer, the posters look dope.
Yeah,
anyways,
I thought they did
with
too.
like everybody, like it was like all the people with all the flags and signs and stuff. Because there was like one dude that was like holding a flag post. It was like only showed like it it was like this. So it only showed like 3 fingers, which people were like, oh, that's AI generated, which is just the kind of the world we're going to be in now, unfortunately.
You have to critique everything.
Yeah, everything's going to get critiqued, and no matter what, everyone's going to think AI had something to do with everything, and more often than not, it probably might. Who fucking knows? Whatever. But then we got the actual
pizza's in the air.
Teaser. Yeah. Then we got the actual teaser trailer, and I was...
Dude, I rewatched...
What do you think?
I've
watched it like 7 or 8 times already.
It's in the same vein as Deadpool and Wolverine last year. I rewatched it over and over and over again. It just has me so excited. The composer for whoever did this did a great job. The final shot of it saying the Fantastic Four and like a choir. It just felt epic.
For me, I think this actually has me more excited than Deadpool and Wolverine did.
Okay.
And specifically for a reason. There's no throwback. There's no nostalgia in this.
This is fresh.
Has me freshly excited.
Yeah.
Where like the Deadpool Wolverine, the trailers, everything, like you got pieces of like previous franchises, like, you know, you got like glimpses into certain things, like you knew kind of what was going on, like but you also didn't. This is like, I have no fucking idea where the actual story of this is going to go outside of the fact that the Fantastic Four are going to be there and Galactus is a threat,
and you get official Galactus.
Yeah,
like not a cloud.
Yeah,
this is Galactus.
Yes, Galactus. And like we got, I mean, we knew that from the early get-go, from when they like leaked the footage of like him looking into the Baxter building or whatever. But now you got like 2 different glimpses of like actually over his shoulder looking over the top of the city. Yeah. And then also you got the shadow over the city of his helmet and everything. That's like very comic book accurate. But then you look at the fucking the setting, the like 1950s, 60s, maybe retro futuristic vibe that they have. It feels straight out of the comics.
Oh yeah.
The look of Thing in this,
so accurate.
Is the best looking thing we've ever had. Yeah. In all 4 live action adaptations. That's counting the one that never actually got fully made. I'm counting that. The one that never actually like came, like it's made. I think you can find it, but you like really have to search for it, but it was never like put out. It was never distributed. And I forget who did that, but whatever. But like, I mean, the 2015 Trank Fantastic Four was, in retrospect, it was fucking awful. It was terrible. It was like, I enjoyed it when I watched it, and I thought the idea of what they were doing was cool with that origin and everything, like cool. But then like the way the movie played out just made it fucking bomb, and it was really not well done. The original first 2 actual live actions with that cast were, for their time, I think, solid.
I thought they were fun,
I enjoyed them.
I enjoyed them.
But then when you look back on it, you're like, yeah, they really kind of did some of the characters dirty. There was a lot of questionable things within it.
Galactus as a cloud.
And so in Rise of the Silver Surfer, like that was probably the biggest fucking questionable thing. There was also some other societal types of things that like didn't age well, I guess. Yeah. With like some sexism type things and like stuff like that. But whatever. Like I enjoyed the first 2 for what they were as comic book movies. The trailer for this looks like it's going to beat the fucking brakes off of everything we've ever gotten. The Thing, the representation of the Thing in this looks like they straight up took a picture of a Jack Kirby comic and made it real. Yeah. Like the brow, the rock eyebrow, right? Like, and like they went, Shackman, the director of this, like he has gone on record stating, and I said this like in earlier episodes of the podcast when we first kind of started talking about the Fantastic Four, was that like they have done research on rocks. Yeah. Like they did geological research to try to make this as fucking legit as possible. And I think that bitch shows in the trailer. Like the clunking of the rocks when he's doing certain things, like the sounds you're getting and like all of it sound like it just, everything looks good. Yeah. I'm really excited about this. there are a few things that I've read online since the trailer dropped that people are like, "Whoa, I like the trailer looks good, but," and the majority of that "but" has been they're worried about the size of Galactus, because Galactus is like an overwhelmingly like gigantic entity.
But he can change sizes, right?
Exactly. And that's the part that pisses me off about all those fucking articles is like, you're seeing a glimpse of a trailer.
Yeah. A teaser trailer.
Literally a teaser trailer. And you're seeing glimpses of this character. And they're like, well, he doesn't look like he's big enough in the little bit that you even fucking saw. He doesn't look like he's big enough. Nah. And I'm like, are you guys not actual fans? Do you guys forget the fact that one of Galactus's commonly forgotten powers is the fact that he can manipulate his own size. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of fucking times in the comics where he was a regular fucking human size, right? But then he could grow to be larger than a planet, which is why he was the eater of worlds.
Yep.
But then, like, so it's like, okay, yeah. Now, if this movie comes out and
that's all you get,
they don't allude to it at all, and like this is just the biggest he is, sure, then you can bitch about it.
Yeah.
But in a trailer where maybe in this movie they don't have him be as big as he can fucking be, because that's a part of the threat of him and being unsure about it, and that could lead to the future of this villain. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's a great
fucking amazing thing. So it's like, if you get him on a smaller scale in this movie, which is what leads to the threat of a few further down the line type thing, that's good. That's an okay thing. So yeah, it's that type of thing where I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, God, people are just pick everything apart
right away, instantly.
Immediately.
Don't let any play out.
No, and that shit bothers me, because I feel like we do a pretty good job of like getting all of the information that we can before we start making, opinions and conclusions on shit.
Absolutely.
That just hit my tooth.
I was very excited to see the quick glimpse of John Malkovich in this. Just excited to have him part of the MCU world is great.
And it's still very up in the air of who the fuck he's playing.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen a couple different things. I've seen things that there's like a specific villain character that could match his depiction in that. But I also saw another one that could be he's playing an older version of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Because there's comic book adaptations that look exactly like what we saw of him in the trailer too. So I'm like, could this be part of like the multiverse? Like they go to a couple different places, and like that's Pedro Pascal's character from a different universe as an old version of himself type thing. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. But it's just exciting to see him, like you said, because he's such a magnificent actor.
He really is. And just, again, I can't say enough about the music part of the trailer. And then it was, the only weird thing was, and I'm fine with it, I'm not hating on it, but we like kind of get a glimpse of everyone's powers but Mr. Fantastic's in this teaser. So
I feel like I know what happened.
And I'm sure it will come, but I think I know like what happened.
Mm-hmm. Very similar to how in a lot of like the Deadpool and Wolverine trailers, there were certain things edited out.
Oh, right? Yes.
Like there were things edited out of, there were parts in the trailer that in the actual movie had Chris Evans' Human Torch edited out. Right?
Yeah.
There have been other Marvel movies or shows where they've edited out certain parts of the actual scene to leave that as a surprise for when you actually see it.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not alone in this because I've read other shit, but I thought this like from watching it, because I thought the same thing when I was watching. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then I rewatched it and I'm like, hold up. There's one spot in the trailer where Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards is writing on the chalkboard and the chalkboard wraps around. Right? And I think he's like crossing something out. Mm-hmm. And on the chalkboard, you see essentially what looks kind of like a wormhole, and it says like exit, or it says like entrance, exit, and then right here it says another universe. Right? So it's like talking about being able to jump from timeline to timeline, essentially. Yeah. So like he's already you're getting from this trailer that he's already like aware of the multiverse type thing. Okay, so that's one thing in and of itself. Second, it's kind of dark on that side of the chalkboard. I'm wondering if they edited out his arm writing something over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like he might be stretching, like he's like doing something over here, but because he's Reed Richards, he's fucking genius.
Yeah.
So he's like doing something over here while his arm is writing something,
doing something,
scratching, doing some other equation or something over here.
That's a good call.
That's one thing I'm wondering about.
That's a good call.
Another thing that was not referenced like in any way, shape, or form in the trailer, and I haven't read anything about, but that I've thought about because of who I know is also casted in this movie is A, Paul Walter Hauser, and B, Natasha Lyonne.
Oh, that's right.
And a lot of fan theories that I've read is that Natasha Lyonne, they all thought was going to end up playing Herbie. But in the trailer, Herbie is referred to as a man, which doesn't mean that she can't voice him.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, but that does make me wonder, is she potentially playing something else or somebody else? Because that's been like the common theme. And then the other thing is Paul Walter Hauser was either casted as either Herbie or Mole Man.
Yep, that's right.
Who is also supposed to apparently play a role in this movie. So, but we didn't get anything from that. So potentially tomorrow at the Super Bowl, we might get a little extra. We'll see.
I'll be texting you.
Yep, we'll be talking. But yeah, that was fucking exciting and dope. I'm so stoked for this.
So excited.
Jurassic World Rebirth. We also got the trailer for this. And fuck.
Yeah.
It looks good. I'm excited for this. It kind of resets the franchise in a way, right?
For sure.
It brings you back in like a new age, but back to like the original.
Yeah.
In a very, very similar, not necessarily similar goal by any means, but like in a similar light.
Yeah.
They're going to this island that is essentially where all of these dinos are now isolated because the Earth couldn't handle it. And this is where they reside. But now they know like the DNA from these three main big ones, can be like life-saving scientific discovery type thing.
Yeah.
And so they go on an excursion and oh shit, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. It kind of gives me Lost World vibes, and I really like that movie, and it kind of gives me that vibes where it's not like right to the original, but like it's like that kind of expedition for it. The characters look great in it. I've thoroughly enjoyed this franchise through and through. Even through Dominion. I know the last two really got panned, but I had a lot of fun with it.
I liked them all. Same. Yeah.
And so I'm just excited to see the world continue. Love seeing dinosaurs on the screen. And
you got ScarJo.
ScarJo. I was a little nervous because, like, just from the trailer, the dialogue that she was giving off in the first part of it was like kind of corny, and I was like, I hope this is just editing. Yeah. But then later on, it just kind of played out, and I was fine with it
for sure. Yeah.
But no, I'm really excited for this one.
I liked how towards the end of the trailer when they're like on the boat and I don't know what they are, what type of dinosaur it is, but the big old spiny back fucking.
I don't like the sound of that.
She's like, nothing that you just said is good.
Yeah.
And then they get attacked. Like, nothing that you just said is a good thing. I like that.
It just, it's a fun franchise. If you just, if you don't look for those things, you could just have fun with it.
Exactly.
And that's what this is. And I'm excited for it.
It's a franchise about dinosaurs.
How can you pick that apart? There is no dinosaurs.
How can you take yourself so seriously about this? So, 100%.
Exactly.
We also got an update on the Anaconda reboot. Jack Black, Paul Rudd, and there was another one of the actors actually that I forget the name. That's why I didn't put it on here. They like posted a video. He's also like a musician. The dude I can't remember his name. But he was like playing guitar or something, and then they like kind of sang a song while like saying who the cast is, right?
Gotcha. Like
announcing. Thank you.
Yes.
Who the cast is. And so we got Jack Black, Paul Rudd, and then the two other like primary, like most known people from the cast that they said are Steve Zahn and Thandaway Newton.
Yeah.
So all four of them are all fantastic actors and actresses in their own right. And then just the idea of this movie, which I'll just off the top of my head kind of re-put because I didn't put it on here, but it's like a group of high school friends reuniting in like a midlife crisis type situation. They're all like in these like weird spots, and they try to go and remake their favorite movie. So this is like a Anaconda reboot, but it's also kind of a spoofy type thing of it.
It's like a very meta.
Yeah, very much so. Because like it's like they're going to remake it, from the sounds of it at least, the original Anaconda movie.
Yeah.
Right? And then they actually end up getting caught up in this shit. So it's like it ends up turning real for them. So that's kind of an interesting concept to it anyway.
I really like the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Adding Steve Zahn to that's great. Like,
that was one of the happiest I've been reading casting updates for things in a while. I was like, Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Steve Zahn. This is going to be fucking amazing.
And just seeing, because it's been a long time since I seen Steve Zahn in anything, and then seeing him in Silo.
He was in the White Lotus season 1 also.
Okay, so yeah, I need to watch that. So.
But yeah, Silo.
I haven't seen that, but Silo he was in, so I was like, all right, a resurgence, because he's a good actor, like a comedic awesome, actor and everything. So very excited for that. Excited for the idea of this. So for sure.
Yeah. We also got a new clip as like a teaser for Apple TV Plus. Their show, The Studio, which we've talked about on here once or twice. Seth Rogen's show that has him and Catherine O'Hara, fucking a ton of other people. Catherine Hahn, De Niro, Anthony Mackie, Zac Efron's going to be in it. Like, there's a bunch of people, and it's the show that essentially is following like a dwindling movie studio trying to stay alive, right? Well, the new clip, we got Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson involved in this. And it's essentially like the clip for this starts inside a movie trailer for a new zombie movie coming out where Hutcherson and Johnny Knoxville are like surviving in this zombie apocalypse, but the movie trailer, the movie for that trailer inside the show is called Duh-Pocalypse. So you can already get that it's like a fucking stupid type of spoof spinoff thing. Yeah. And then in the trailer, they are zombies that infect people with their explosive diarrhea. Fucking hilarious. And so, like, Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson are sitting there, and zombies coming at him. They're like, "Oh God, oh he's dropping trow," and then the dude, like, the zombie explodes diarrhea all over Josh Hutcherson, and he's like, "Am I gonna die?" He goes, and then Johnny Knoxville kills him, and and then it cuts to like the writer's room, and they're all like talking about the trailer, and then like Johnny Knoxville's there, and it's just. The whole thing, it's kind of, and again, it's kind of a meta type of spin on things, and it just looks fucking hilarious. So
it looked hilarious. It is hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
I was laughing.
It's super fucking funny.
I thought you posted the wrong thing at first, because I was like, all right.
What the fuck is this?
I was like, we've talked about The Studio before. This is the Seth Rogen show, right?
Yeah.
And then watching it, I was like
Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson, what the fuck? Zombies, what's going on?
What is happening? I'm like, I'm here for it. Oh God, it's dropping drip. Like, oh my God, it's zombies' ass. Shit.
Literally shit.
And then it cuts, and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
I
then
love
it goes to Catherine Hahn and Seth Rogen and Johnny Knoxville's
character. The diarrhea's got to be in the trailer.
Yeah, like all of it. And it just brings you back to what the show's going to be about. And it's like this movie studio that's trying to survive, and they're trying to figure out like the best fucking way to go about things. And it like starts off that trailer. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And then it like grounds you again. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. This is what this is. Type of thing. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited for it. It made me that much more excited to watch this show. So
yeah.
Another thing Apple TV Plus is putting out, like, looks great. They're
pumping it out.
Fucking banger after banger after banger. Special segment this week. We got Toasted or Trash, as we do every second weekend of the month. This week, we each gave each other a movie, as we usually do. We watched them respectively, and then we will talk about what we each thought, and then we will try to guess what the person that assigned it to us thought it was. Toasted or Trash, or down the middle.
Yeah.
I'll go. Tim, I gave you the movie Copper Mountain. Came out in 1983. The synopsis for this movie is: two swinging buddies go to a Colorado ski resort. The very brief synopsis.
Very brief.
The cast of the movie is Jim Carrey and Alan Thicke. There is pretty much nobody else notable in the movie. And the Rotten Tomatoes score is, no critics have reviewed this on Rotten Tomatoes. There's not a score, and it is an 11% fan score. What'd you think?
I was super excited at first. I saw the cast. I was like, all right. Should have looked at the time of when it released. I did not like this movie in any way, shape, or form. I was a little excited at first because you got Jim Carrey opening up and he's just doing his what do you call that? You call it shtick. Yeah, he's just like imitating people and making and everything. You're like, all right, I could get on board with this. It definitely felt like an 80s movie. What was it with the time of frame where every movie opened with a car scene going up a mountain, like The Shining is what I thought of, which is funny because he brought up Jack Nicholson in that opening, but it felt like just this like hour long, because it was a very short movie. It just felt like an hour long promo for a band. It's not like it was just a lot of full music and then a couple ski scenes and then very little of Jim Carrey in this movie. So I'm going to say you thought this movie was trash.
You are 100% correct, good sir.
Have you watched this before?
No, this was the first time watch for me as well. And I was watching this and I watched it after I gave it to you. So like I gave it to you and I don't even know what led me to do this. I think you sent me yours, the one that you were giving me. And then I was like, I'm going to give you an older movie. So then I literally this is kind of the funny thing. I looked up top movies in 1983.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I did. And this popped up and I was like, fuck, Jim Carrey. I was like, what the fuck? I've never even heard of this. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll give it to you. So I sent it to you and then I watched it and I was like, oh, fuck. It was fucking terrible. It was like you said, like Jim Carrey is like the poster. His name is huge and he was in it. He was in it less than the music.
Yep.
Like it was crazy. And it legitimately felt like it was just like a fucking concert movie. Like every 2 minutes there was a concert
song.
Scene and it was a full song. Yeah, it wasn't even a glimpse or anything. It was crazy.
I thought like it was like a promotion for Club Med and whatever band was playing.
Yeah,
and
it was
I was
wild.
I was like, are we just watching an hour of what filmed on MTV during that time
I know,
or something?
it was fucking wild. Yeah.
No, it was
it was bad.
Definitely bad. All right, I gave you The Game. This came out in 1997. Synopsis: Nicholas Van Orton is a successful banker who keeps mostly to himself. When his estranged brother Conrad returns on his birthday with an odd gift, participation in a personalized and real-life game. Nicholas reluctantly accepts. Initially harmless, the game grows increasingly personal, and Orton begins to fear for his life as he eludes agents from the mysterious game's organizers. With no time left to trust and his money gone, Orton must find answers for himself. Cast is Michael Douglas, Sean Penn, Deborah Kara Unger. Rotten Tomatoes score for this was 77% critics, 84% audience. This was by the director that directed Seven. He did The Social Network, The Panic Room. So got good movies behind him. So what were your thoughts on this?
It started really slow for me, and I watched this in 2 stints. And I'm kind of happy I did watch it in 2 stints, because had I just tried to sit down and watch the whole thing, I don't know that I would have made it through, because the beginning of it was so slow. But then once it picked up, I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on? You know? And then like when the ending and everything rolled around, I was like, oh shit. What the fuck? You know, like that type of thing. Cast was all around. Like I didn't read anything about this. I didn't read the synopsis. I'd never seen this before. Nothing. So
okay, so this is the first time watch for you too?
First time watch for me. Was it for you?
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
So yeah, and like I said, I didn't like you sent it to me, and before I watched it, all I had seen was the picture you sent me. So I just went into it completely blind and watched it, which is what I try to do with these, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to read anything about it. I had no idea. So like halfway through the movie, when Sean Penn all of a sudden showed up, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck's Sean Penn doing? I was like, oh, that's his brother. That's who he's been talking about this whole time. I was like, whoa, shit. And then just with the layer after layer after layer of things that just kept getting added, I was like finding myself more and more invested. And by the time it all played out and it was all said and done, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? I'm assuming you thought this was toasted.
Toasted for sure.
Yeah.
Toasted for sure.
Because like I said, at first I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? It's really slow. It's got that really, again, even in 1997, like movies from 97 look old as fuck now, right?
Yeah, they really
And
do.
so like when it looks old as fuck and it's slow to begin, it's like, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what is going on? And there wasn't a lot that was really that intriguing to me, even with the like wooden clown thing, and then like the weird news anchor situation in the den, like all of that, like wasn't even all that kind of like catching to me. I want to say I really got hooked when it came to the Polaroid photos in the hotel room. Was when I was like, hold up, that red bra. I was like, okay, wait, what's going on? And then I was like, okay, I'm invested. But before that, I was just kind of like, I gotta watch this, you know. And and I had watched Copper Mountain before I watched this, so I didn't have a whole lot of high hopes. I will be honest. So that kind of made me a little biased at first, but then as the movie went on, I was like, oh fuck, this is crazy. The concept of it is, we talked about, what movie was that last week that we talked about where it was like kind of scary? Oh, it was the fucking Blockbusters. It was
The Substance.
The Substance, right? Where it was like I don't know, like there are a lot of people that would pick to do that. And I felt very similar about this, where I'm like, there are a lot of people that would fucking pick to put themselves through this type of thing. Yeah. And like at the end, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh shit, the gig's up, and he went crazy and ended up killing his, like this came out in 97. It came out almost 30 years ago. So no spoiler alerts. Fuck off. If you didn't watch this yet, fuck you. Sorry. Like we didn't watch it either until now, but like, it's almost 30 years old. You can't fucking get mad about spoilers in a movie that old. But like, I was like, oh shit, he like went crazy and he just fucking shot his brother because this just drove him that mad.
Yeah.
And then throws himself off the building, which I have a slight qualm with. We'll get to that.
I do too.
But he throws himself off the building, and then he goes through 2 different sheets of glass, and then lands on a fucking suicide jumper catch pad.
Bounty castle, essentially.
Yeah. And then everyone's just fine. Everything was good. No, it was all, we got you, dude. It's all part of the joke. I think, 2 qualms I technically have with this is A, what if you would have jumped off a separate ledge?
Well, even watching the crashing through, like, you have to be thrown at that exact spot because of, like, the framing of the building and the glass, because you could see, like metal framing.
Yeah.
in there.
So like he had to go through perfectly.
Yeah.
So technically 3 qualms, right?
Yeah.
So he had to go through perfectly. That's one. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
Second, what if he would have not jumped off that side of the building? Yeah. They're on a building. There are at least four sides that he could have picked to jump off of. What if he would have gone off one of the other ones?
Yeah.
Now your whole game's fucked, right?
Yeah.
And third, he threw himself off a building. A fucking, like, almost skyscraper type building.
Yeah.
At that. Statistically speaking, the majority of the times when people throw themselves off of high platforms like that to kill themselves, they have a heart attack in midair because of out of shock in
Yeah.
Have you ever dropped from somewhere high? Have you ever jumped off like a large cliff or gone down a roller coaster drop that takes your breath away?
Yeah.
That, on steroids, right? So like that type of thing. Well, there have been like game shows where people have had heart attacks because they think they're getting thrown out of a helicopter and they literally drop 2 feet.
True.
You know what I mean? So like that type of thing where I'm just like,
I'll give it.
He just fucking threw himself off of a couple 100 tall foot building.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Went
through 2 different fucking sheets of glass, landed on this thing, and then got up and was fine.
Yeah.
What?
I'll let not a lot of it slide, but I'll let a little bit because I think a lot of the testing for this was like alluding to what's going to happen throughout the movie. There was a lot of like they showed a car like going off an edge of something on a card, and I was like, so it alluded to a lot, and so maybe part of that testing was like, okay, he can handle. I mean, that's a lot to throw someone off a building because the guy did say if you didn't
jump, I was gonna have to throw you.
Yeah. So
no, and I get that it was like a part of the game and everything, but it's still like
there's 4 sides to a building. Yeah. He had to go through a perfect side of the thing, and I'm hoping what would happen is like he like goes, oh, it was a joke, and then that guy does just throw him at that spot. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
then also too, there's the other part where it's like, what if he would have shot her?
Oh yeah,
on the rooftop before everything.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but I guess actually
it was a blank.
His gun was blanks anyways.
She was just playing.
She was playing it up. So never mind. That's right. It was a good movie all around. Like it really was. I ended up enjoying it in the end. Like I said, even though it was kind of a long haul to get going because it was slow moving in the beginning.
Yeah,
and it was older looking. And I was kind of like I said, I had just finished watching Copper Mountain, and then I started this, and so I was already kind of like out of it. And I was just kind of like, whatever. This is gonna be. I was like, this is gonna be a fucking. We got back-to-back trash. But no, I ended up really enjoying this, and I was like, oh, fuck, that was kind of a mind fuck. It was really well done in that realm, too. So
I agree. I think that was the best part was it was just like, oh, I know there's a game going on, but then they were just adding layers where I was like, oh, shit, is this real?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it was within a minute.
Yeah,
of the movie where it was like back-to-back mindfucks that like one mindfuck you were like, oh my god, he just killed his brother, but then you're like, oh shit, that was a mindfuck and he's fine and he's fine. Like, what the fuck? And now everything's just good and it just ends happy. And you're like, I did not see that coming at all. I did not anticipate this movie ending happily.
Yeah.
And it did. It ended in a birthday party.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? It was such a fucked up movie to end in a birthday party. That would have been like The Substance ending in a fucking birthday party. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Just kidding, you got the part.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh my lord.
Yeah. No, very good movie. I'm glad I finally watched it because it's been on one of my watch lists for a long time. I kept reading about it, so very, very good. So.
I already got the next one I'm going to assign you for Toasted or Trash next month. So yeah, I'm ahead of the game.
Oh,
I'm ready for it.
I just did I have an app where I scanned all my movies in, and I shook it, and I was like, all right, there it is.
Oh, no shit. So you own the game? You just haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I picked it up because
you have an app where you scanned?
Yeah, I've scanned. It's like a catalog,
like
so
I know. Barcode?
Yeah. Gives me all the actor, the synopsis, and everything.
That's fucking crazy. That's so dope.
So that way I don't duplicate buy anything.
What makes me wish I would have kept all the fucking cases of my movies.
You can still type them in, so you could still have that. You can just, but it'll take longer. Because this, I can literally just scan all of them.
Damn.
And it will just add them. So, okay.
Blockbusters question of the week. To wrap this up, this was mine. I posed this, and both are kind of just very quick, straight to the point questions. The first one is, what is your favorite ensemble cast movie? So a movie that has a large, kind of triumphant cast, right? Mm-hmm. And then what is your favorite minimalist cast movie, which is a smaller cast?
Okay.
And we'll kind of bounce
back and forth.
Yep. So ensemble cast movie, which one you got?
Ocean's 11. You alluded to it earlier,
I talked about that.
And has George Clooney, Bernie Mac, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, Julia Roberts, and then he just keeps building on throughout the franchise. But really enjoyed it. I love a heist movie, and just the cast was perfect in that movie, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Right. I went with Inception.
Oh yeah, that's
Leo, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy. You got Juno. What's her name?
Oh, Ellen Page.
Name. Elliot Page now.
Yeah.
Right. Elliot Page. And there's a handful of others that I can't fucking remember off the top of my head that are in there. Like, just great cast. And the movie in and of itself is one of the biggest mind fucks of a movie in a long, that I've been that I can remember in recent time type thing. I think I want to say it came out around 2012 ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 2012, 2013. I want to say.
So yeah, that was mine. I've always loved that movie from the moment I saw it. So
that's a good one. My favorite minimalist cast would be Gravity, with funny enough, George Clooney again. Sandra Bullock is in that, and really there's only the two, and then there's Ed Harris's voice, but not much. But that, how anxiety driven that movie was, and scary. And just everything. That movie was crazy good for what it was. And that would be my favorite minimalist.
Yeah. I have two that I had a hard time picking between, kind of for different reasons. One is it's kind of like the true, probably one of the truest of true minimalist casts. And that's Castaway.
Yeah, that was high up on my list.
Tom Hanks pretty much was in that movie by himself and a volleyball, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. I mean, there were other people at the beginning and end of the movie, but the bulk of the movie was just him. So, I mean, for what that movie was and everything, one of the all-time greats. My favorite, though, that I think I would put above it and just for what it was and everything, is A Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah.
Because very similar kind of to Gravity, where it's there was 4 people primarily, and there in the beginning, when it was before it all happened, there was some other people,
but the main story,
the
majority
bulk of all of it was just the 4. It was the father, mother, son, daughter.
Yeah,
right. It was just them, and I think for what that movie was also, it was a movie that was done almost entirely in the silence.
Yeah.
Kind of made it even have more of a minimalist feel to it.
Absolutely.
Right? Where it was you're taking away one of the senses in that regard as well, with having that few of people in the cast. So, and that's one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah, it's so
ever.
good.
It was just so good. So, that's what I went with. But I was I feel like I had to throw out the Castaway because it's so good.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
100% agree.
So. Yeah, dog.
That concludes, man.
That concludes it.
Not a lot to cheers to in that glass there.
I got a drip. I felt like a hamster with one of the little, the water things with the little ball at the end. Anyways.
My favorite moments in our history together.
I forgot about that. Oh, God. Good shit. All right. Get it together.